Coming to you live from Pioneer Field in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, as well as the Workers Credit Union studios at FATV. It is Fitchburg High School Red Raider football here on Fitchburg Access Television. I'm John Gugerty, joined once again by Dan Bullock. And today, Dan, we are doing this whole hybrid simulcasty, we're in the studio, cameras at the field thing again. Hopefully the power doesn't go out this time.
Yep, that's the one thing that I'm hoping we're not going to duplicate from 2 weeks ago when we did this against Hingham. And one other difference is this time we have control over the camera.
That's right. It's our own guy. It's Nate Glennie out in Shrewsbury running the camera for us today. Going to do a fantastic job. You see there, captains are at midfield for the coin toss. Looks like Fitchburg, has won and deferred. So the Red Raiders, again, will be the far team. They're going to be in the all-white with red helmets. St. John's on the near side in the bright red with white. A lot of red and a lot of white on the field in Shrewsbury today, Dan.
It's interesting, when we did this remote broadcast 2 weeks ago, it was Fitchburg playing Hingham, who wear red and white, and now another postponement, a whole bunch of things happening there that has resulted in Fitchburg playing St. John's of Shrewsbury as opposed to North Middlesex, who they were supposed to be playing instead. And St. John's also wearing red and white, so we see Fitchburg gets the gray on our graphics today yet again. They'll be in the road white uniforms. St. John's will be in the home reds, and it's going to be a very interesting game.
Should be a good one. Fitchburg, as you said, was originally slated to take on North Middlesex. That game originally scheduled to happen last night. That has been canceled, but good news for the Red Raiders. They still face a winless opponent. North Middlesex would have come in with an 0-3 record. Instead, they face St. John's, coming in with a record of 0-2, although in 2019 it was a much different story for the Pioneers.
Indeed, 9-3 that St. John's went, and they won their third consecutive Central Division III championship. They made it to the state semifinal before losing to the eventual Division III state champion in Springfield Central. That one a barn burner of a game in Sturbridge, 64-33. This St. John's team last year scored 39 points a game but conceded 27 points a game. Many games were barn burners featuring this St. John's team.
Not the case thus far. Only 17 points for the Pioneers in their first two games, but we are underway here in Shrewsbury. Low line drive kick taken and picked up and brought back well across midfield. Ryan Coonan with a very good return sets the Pioneers up in excellent field position. Looks like they're going to spot the ball right at the midfield stripe. So Dan, it'll be 1st and 10 for St. John's at the 50.
And a great return there by Coonan, who's going to be one of those three quarterbacks that St. John's has. They're not afraid to go to any, they're not afraid to use any of them. They'll happily rotate through all three, and all of them have seen snaps behind the center this season. It's going to be Ryan Miller who take the first snap for St. John's.
He rolls to his left, throws to his left, pass is caught. They're going to rule it a completion. Jake Newsham the catch. Looks like a gain of about 21 yards, and already they're knocking on the door of the red zone. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers at the Fitchburg 29. Ryan Miller is a sophomore, 9 of 13 for 81 yards in last week's defeat against St. John's Prep. St. John's and St. John's Prep, I'm sure that was a fun game to call. Now 1st down for the Pioneers. Handoff goes straight up the middle, breaking out of one tackle, and being finally driven down to the ground is Darren Appia. A good gain for him. Appia is a senior.
And a strong carry on 1st down to the 23-yard line.
Be 2nd down and about 4 now for the Pioneers. Appia once again lines up behind Miller in the pistol. Handoff goes to Appia, straight up the middle. Big hole for him. Dodges out of one tackle, avoids the second, and he is in. Touchdown St. John's, just like that.
So now the question is, are we going to be in for another barn burner of a game? St. John's offense already showing explosive power. Just took 3 plays from scrimmage to find their way to the end zone.
3 plays, 50 yards. It all started with the excellent kickoff return by Ryan Coonan, but then a great pass by Ryan Miller and 2 fantastic runs by Darren Appia. St. John's, Dan, you said they were explosive. We hadn't seen it from them this year, but they might be breaking out of this slump.
And even then, those 2 results that they've gotten in this season, those losses to Catholic Memorial and St. John's Prep, there's something interesting about those 2 teams in that Catholic Memorial's the defending state champion in Division I. St. John's Prep, the defending runner-up.
I see.
And that's why St. John's came into this week ranked number 4 in the home team Telegram and Gazette top 15 poll, because even though they're 0-2, they've played two incredibly tough teams to open this season. And a substitution infraction just got called against St. John's on the conversion attempt. So it looks like Sam LaValle's going to have to kick this one from 25.
Back the Pioneers up 5 yards. No real thought to go for 2. Given the longer distance, they trust their kicker. LaValle does have a 29-yard field goal on the year. He's also 2 for 2 on extra points. Make it 3-4-3. Barely a minute gone, if that, in this one. And already Fitchburg finds themselves in a hole. 7-0 Pioneers here early in the first quarter.
Just didn't take very long for St. John's to make their way downfield. And now this is a matchup, St. John's and Fitchburg. Historically, they've been two of the most powerful teams in Central Mass. In recent years, the two teams haven't been playing each other so much. This is the first time these two teams have played since 2015. As we can see, 11:18 to go in the first quarter of play. It just did not take long at all for St. John's to get on the board. But yeah, these two teams, they played regularly every year, at least going back to the early 2000s, probably longer than that. 2003 is as far back as my database goes. But I can tell you from 2003 to 2015, they played each other every year. And St. John's was usually the more successful team. Of those deliberately scheduled meetings, St. John's won 12 out of 13. The one that wasn't deliberately scheduled, a playoff game in 2014, Fitchburg pulled the upset as a 7th seed in the Central Mass playoffs en route to winning the Central Mass championship. 2014 was a great year for the Red Raiders.
LaValle's kickoff is brought back across the 25-yard line, maybe to the 26. Miguel Torres on the return for the Red Raiders. While we have a second here between possessions, Dan, I want to talk about just a few of the companies who help bring this and every FATV remote production to you. FATV's remote productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, and the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital. We'll hear about some more of those sponsors and underwriters as we progress through this game, but we do thank them all for their contribution. So Fitchburg will come out 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. They are quarterbacked, of course, by Montgomery Graham, the left-handed senior. And he has Anthony Oquendo in the backfield behind him. First down handoff goes to Oquendo. That play is blown up in the backfield. Bursting through was Spencer Burns, the junior linebacker. Looks like he just kind of reached out, got a handout, and maybe tripped up Oquendo. But that brings him down in the backfield for a loss of about 2. Call it now 2nd down and 12.
We saw Oquendo with a lot of explosive running powers 2 weeks ago against Hingham, but last week, Grafton did very well to hold him back. Just 17 carries for 58 yards for number 7 in the red and gray.
Montgomery Graham gets signals from his dad on the sideline, who is the interim head coach. Play action fake on 2nd down. Graham will keep it himself. He's got plenty of open field in front of him. 1st down and more. A little bit of high stepping as he crosses the 45-yard line. Saw Graham just kind of looking over to his right like, is anybody going to come after me?
So St. John's defense just completely committed to another run up the middle. They sold out for that, and Monty Graham, he looks around, looks at his options, sees so much green field turf on his left side, so he's just going to take all that space, run with it. He's going to get 23 yards on that and a 1st down.
Running behind Orion Cox and Michael Cooper on the left side of his line. Now he wants to throw on 1st down. Pocket collapses around him, and he is sacked. Brought down from behind by big number 87, Quinn Herlihy, junior defensive end for St. John's. So once again, Dan, it's a big loss on 1st down for the Red Raiders. They were able to get it back last time, but that's not a great sustainable strategy, I don't think.
I know one of the things that Greg Graham said yesterday when talking with Chad Gardner is that he wants Fitchburg to be able to throw the ball a little more, try to make the passing game impactful against this St. John's team. I know against Catholic Memorial, the defense went 9 for 23. It's like St. John's limited the Catholic Memorial quarterback to 9 for 23, but he still got nearly 200 yards and a couple of touchdowns through the air. When they did strike, it was for big yardage.
So there are some yards to be had against this St. John's defense, but now Fitchburg is going backward. A false start penalty will make it 2nd down and 20 for Fitchburg. They're at their own 38, but they need to get across midfield and then a fair bit more in order to move those chains. Oquendo goes in motion to the far side right. Pump fake by Graham. He throws over the middle. That pass is caught, cross midfield, and brought down at the 44-yard line. Nice little catch and run there for Darnell Thomas. We saw him a couple weeks ago against Hingham catch a touchdown from Graham on a very similar play. This one gets about 17 yards, but even that is not good enough for a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Graham from the shotgun. Handoff goes to the left side. That's Barasano. Cuts it back up the middle. Cuts right. He's got the first down and is taken down from behind by Herlihy, but not before he moves the chains. Nice little run there by Devin Barasano is good for a Fitchburg first down.
That was good, just getting right back to the line and getting ready to make that run there on 3rd down, make sure St. John's didn't have a chance to truly set up.
Oquendo goes in motion once again. Graham looks right, nothing there. Looks up the middle, looks left again. Dancing around the line of scrimmage, loses the football. I think they're going to rule it either a fumble or he was already out of bounds. Signal was not an incomplete pass. Graham Dan took a long time just standing, right at the 40-yard line. Didn't want to commit to running with it. Wound up not getting anything. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Just taking a lot of time trying to see if his options were going to open up. Ultimately, they never did. Made his way to the sideline and eventually knocked out of bounds there. So no loss there for Montgomery Graham.
2nd down and 10. Shotgun, 2 backs once again for Fitchburg. Graham looking right, throwing right, long, passes high, up for grabs, and ultimately falls incomplete. It was intended for Darnell Thomas. Devin Gagnon, was on coverage for St. John's. Pass was a little bit over both of them. Thomas didn't exactly look like he knew where it was going to be. You saw both guys just kind of turn their eyes to the sky and look for it. By the time they were doing that, the ball was over their heads.
And we're already seeing Monty Graham being more willing to pass there. I mean, that's something they think they can see as a weakness in St. John's, that they might be able to take advantage of St. John's maybe not being too great on pass defense.
3rd down and 10. Graham wanted to go right. Instead, he goes long. Thomas is wide open. Touchdown, Raiders!
And there you go. Throw right over the middle. Darnell Thomas able to pull it in, and the Raiders strike back.
Dan, there was something on this play. I think this play was designed to be a swing pass out to Oquendo. You saw him go in motion out to the right side. Graham took the snap and almost immediately looked and cocked his arm back, and you almost saw him, like Oquendo had not yet turned around to receive the ball, so Graham had a moment of panic and then just decided, to heck with it, I'll chuck it up long. As it happened, Thomas was wide open, and he got the touchdown. Now the extra point attempt is up, and it is good. So McCloskey evens the game. Dan, the word barn burner gets thrown around a lot, but yeah, let's take a look at this touchdown again. Right here, so you see Graham look, that is either the greatest pump fake ever, or he intended to throw that ball to Oquendo and just pulled it down, chucked it up deep on the tight end go to Graham, gets the touchdown out of it. A fantastic throw to a wide open receiver by Monty Graham.
And it's very possible, St. John's very much sold out on that. I mean, that definitely looked like the intention, go to Oquendo there, but Oquendo, he wasn't turned around. He was never going to see that ball if Graham threw over there. So he goes for that deep ball, and Darnell Thomas has got some space on the safety back there and able to pull that one in, and so we are level at 7.
It's a fantastic adjustment by Montgomery Graham there, or perhaps just an amazing play call and a fantastic pump fake. But either way, it's tremendous work by the quarterback, Monty Graham. And not to mention a really good catch by Thomas as well. 2 big plays for him on the drive. Fitchburg levels the scores.
7 plays for 78 yards on that drive, and probably took maybe about 4 minutes or so.
About that.
So 7-7 the score. Still definitely earlier rather than later in the first quarter of play.
Low bouncing kick picked up by one of the up men at the 35-yard line across the 40 to the 45, spinning around, probably getting back out to midfield. That's Sebastian Romaine on the return. And let us not forget that he did a really good job there. Got it out to almost midfield. Once again, St. John's will take over 1st and 10 right at the 50.
It's interesting, you'll start the drive from the same spot, essentially. So it only took 3 plays for St. John's to get on the board on their first drive of the contest.
Ryan Miller remains the quarterback. He takes the shotgun snap, pitches it on the option left. plenty of blocking in front of him. Open field, just one man to beat. Finally driven down out of bounds is Darren Appia. Another big gain for St. John's. Give him 30 yards. He's already into the red zone. Dan, where is the Red Raider defense?
Oh, that's a good question, but I'm looking back at last year's games to think Shepherd Hill, October the 4th. That game ended 63-52. And Fitchburg's going to call timeout here.
This really is just a pretty conventional option play. Appia went in motion to the left, and then Miller, maybe he had the choice. Maybe it was always going to be a design pitch. But once he made that flip and Appia was able to turn the corner, there was only one man to beat. Anthony Oquendo, back on defense actually, was the one who drove him out of bounds. Playing safety is Oquendo. But not before Darren Appia was able to pick up 30 yards and a St. John's first down.
So after a bit of an update, I can tell you there's a little more than 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. So we played nearly 4 minutes of football, and we've had this much offense already. St. John's 4 plays for 80 yards. Fitchburg 7 plays for 78 yards. So 158 yards of offense in the first 4 or so minutes of this game. I think we had about that much, maybe even less in last week's game against Grafton.
That was it was a lot. There was it's been a lot of offense. Folks, while we have a second here, we want to mention that in addition to our live streams on the internet, you can now watch FATV programming in stunning high definition on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the free app today. If you're on Apple TV or the Fire TV, you can search FATV in the App Store. And we have back to live action here real quick. Going straight up the middle is a new quarterback for St. John's, actually losing the football. Fallen on by Fitchburg. Ryan Coonan could not hold on to it. It's picked up by Richard Santana. That's going to be white ball.
I don't know what Ryan Coonan was thinking there. The way that he was moving with the football there, it almost looked like he shoveled past it forward, but why?
He was well beyond the line of scrimmage. My goodness.
That's the 9th turnover of the season for St. John's. And that was just not gone well for St. John's is what that is. You know, they switch quarterbacks there to try to catch the Red Raiders off guard. If anything, they catch themselves off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't broke for St. John's, but they try to fix it and they wind up losing the football. So Fitchburg gets a massive break. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line. It's a handoff to Oquendo, and this play is going absolutely nowhere. Quinn Herlihy is a problem for the Raider offensive line. Once again, he's in the backfield. Folks, I apologize real quick. Want to get back to mentioning the streaming services on which you can watch this and all of our live stream. Once again, if you're using Apple TV or Fire TV, you can just search for FATV in the App Store. On Roku, you're going to want to search for peg.tv, that's PEG.tv, in the Roku App Store. And then within the PEG TV app, you can search for FATV. So it'll be second down and about 16, let's say. Red Raiders are backed up to their own 4-yard line. Handed off to Barasano right up the middle. St. John's knew that was coming. Even from the shotgun formation with the running back in motion, you're not going to drop back there. So Barasano's only able to get maybe a couple. It'll be 3rd and long.
A couple quick plays there, but obviously the run defense has been strong for St. John's, at least on this drive. That was the first unsuccessful possession, of course, that fumble for the Pioneers. And so now the Red Raiders on 3rd down, they might be needing to have to throw the ball through the air here to get some big yardage. It seems like that's really been the weakness for St. John's in the early going.
Now Barasano goes in motion. Graham does not like the options in front of him, and he doesn't have much time to pick. He is sacked. Looks like they flipped the play there, sent Barasano in motion instead of Oquendo. Not much doing for Fitchburg, though. So 3 plays, they wind up losing 7 yards. But still, it's better than St. John's having the ball here, which had been the situation.
So the Pioneers may be catching a break in this regard, but now we have to see how Fitchburg's going to punt the ball here. Obviously, 2 weeks ago against Hingham, we saw a lot of adventures with that. They were significantly better last week against Grafton in regards to punting it. Also, the win not so much a factor today compared to previous weeks.
Good snap to McCloskey, gets the kick away. Under pressure, it's caught at about the 31-yard line on the fly by Coonan. He's able to hang on to the ball and get back to the 20. So a decent punt, but a good return. St. John's once again blessed with excellent field position. They will take over already technically in the red zone. 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg 20. Pretty much, Dan, where they lost the football on their last possession.
Definitely a bit of a reprieve for St. John's. Their defense, knowing how they coughed up the ball there, they stepped up big time and were ultimately able to hold the Red Raiders at bay. 6:17 to go in the first quarter, 7-7 the score.
Handoff goes to the left side to Darren Appia. There's a flag on the play. They had a tight end there, Ben Wing, lined up, come in motion almost to act as a lead blocker. Wing fell down right as the ball was snapped. That might have played a bit of a part in the play not turning out the way St. John's wanted, but of course we will check the infraction. And bringing the ball back, which is not good for the boys in red. That is a hold indicated against St. John's. Guilty party is going to be number 53, who is not on any of the rosters I have for St. John's, Dan. That was Ed Reynolds. Ed Reynolds guilty of the hold there.
Actually, see him on a sub-varsity roster. Jose Perez Garcia.
Jose Perez Garcia. Okay, well, Ed Reynolds is off the hook. Backs St. John's up 10 yards from the spot of the foul, not even the line of scrimmage. So now it'll be 1st and 22 for the Pioneers. Motion and a quick pitch to number 12 for St. John's. That's Keith Sarcodier. Sarcodier's across the 30, brought down at about the 25-yard line, and he is grabbing at his left shoulder. We'll have to check on him, see if he's okay. Looks like maybe it was just an Al get off me situation. Sarcodier heading off the field, but under his own power. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he comes back. Decent gain, about 7 for St. John's, but it still sets them back at 2nd down and call it 16 now. Appia on the carry, bounces it out to the right side, gets past the line of scrimmage, back to the original line of scrimmage. It's taken them 2 plays, but they're back to the 20. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Pioneers.
3rd down and 10.
These teams going really quickly in regards to how they set up.
And not much time between plays. St. John's already back to the line. Miller calling signals. Takes the snap, option to the left side, pitches it to Appia. He gets the blocks once again. Appia gets close to the 10. It's going to come down to the spot. I think he got it, but we will await the official decision. St. John's is indicating 1st down, and the officials agree. So stop the clock, move the chains. The Pioneers are on the move once again.
Should be a 1st and goal, and now the ones holding the sticks, throwing those down to the ground, it will very much be 1st and goal.
1st and goal, St. John's at the Fitchburg 10, and I think we might back him up to the Fitchburg 15. Official has thrown the flag and maybe miscounted. Yeah, I think maybe they were going to call too many men on the field and then just check their numbers. Now the snap is lost. Miller just falls on it. Smart play by him. He was under pressure. O'Brien Porter was bearing down. But Miller did the smart thing, Dan, dove on the football, take the loss rather than try to make anything happen and risk disaster.
I know that was something that St. John's had a challenge with last week against St. John's Prep, is quite a few times they coughed up the football on bad snaps. They ended up losing the football 5 times in last week's game.
2nd down handoff goes to C.J. Ewing. He doesn't get much. All he had to do was follow the darn offensive line. Didn't do that, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get a foul against Fitchburg. It'll be 5 yards for the Pioneers, and they will get to try 2nd down again.
Substitution infraction indicated against the Red Raiders.
So they stopped play right before that snap, thinking that someone had been guilty of it, and then during the play, turns out they were right. So that'll be 5 free yards for St. John's. Still puts them in a difficult situation, though. 2nd down and goal from the 13-yard line. Appia checks back in as the main running back to the right of Miller, and he will get the carry running to the left side, and he is dragged down pretty darn quickly. You see there coming out of the play, very happy with himself, is Chris Garcia. Garcia, the junior linebacker, stopped Appia after a gain of about 3. It'll be 3rd and goal now for the Pioneers from the 10. They go right back to the line. 3 receivers, a back and a tight end. Play fake. Miller throws to the right. Pass is caught. Diving out of one tackle and into the end zone is Matthew Marchese for the touchdown.
Just impressed in how quickly they can strike St. John's. They get to the line very quickly and able to make these plays happen. A throw over the middle there, and Marchese able to get the reception, the touchdown. His first of the season, and St. John's retakes the lead.
You mentioned, Dan, that they had faced 2 very, very difficult opponents their first 2 weeks in Catholic Memorial and St. John's Prep. Only 17 combined points in those games, but 13 going on 14 just in the first quarter here. St. John's is happy to be facing the Fitchburg side today. Extra point attempt is very high, but it is also very good. So they are back up by 7, 14-7 Pioneers here as we approach probably the dying stages of the first quarter. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
A throw over the middle there, and just not able to wrap him up quickly enough. Marchese able to get the touchdown there. I have been getting texts from Nate Glennie with time checks, and there's 3:48 to go in the first quarter.
3:48 to go here, first quarter. Thank you so much to Nate Glennie for doing that. Is that Sean Sweeney down there on the far sideline?
That'd be interesting if he made the trip down. He was in St. Bernard's last night.
Did you just get a text from Nate Glennie saying, hey, look, it's Sean Sweeney?
Nope, but, oh yeah, I guess, yes.
I nailed it. I'm proud of me. So, good to see Sean Sweeney up and about, always out covering the Red Raiders whenever he can. Unfortunately, covering a losing side at the moment. They trail St. John's 14-7. We do want to thank a few more of the underwriters who provide support that allow us to do all of these remote broadcasts. FATV's remote productions are also underwritten by North End Subaru, Unitil, and Research Results. Thank you to them as well. So 14-7 St. John's. Their offense has looked positively. The only way to stop St. John's is to hope they cough up the football, at least on their first 3 possessions. Fitchburg's offense a little more hit and miss rather. But hopefully there are some more hits coming through if you're a Fitchburg supporter, and you know we are after all on Fitchburg Access Television. Low line drive kick, bounces at the 30 and is picked up at the 15-yard line by Brian Rivera. He'll get back out to the 30, maybe not much more than that. Finally driven down after some second effort. They'll spot him at the 33.
Right now, from my count, I've got 11 plays for 118 yards for St. John's offensively in this contest.
Is that good? That sounds good. It seems like it's good. The average more than 10 yards per play.
It's been positive in that regard, that's for sure.
Raiders will come back out trying to match the offensive output by St. John's. Oquendo and Barasano are the tailbacks. Oquendo will get the carry running to the right. Does get some positive yardage this time. Manages to get across the 40-yard line running behind the lead block of Barasano. Dan, they have gone to Oquendo on first down pretty much each drive thus far. This time they actually do get some positive results from it. Be second down and 3 at the 40-yard line. Fitchburg will go from the I formation for the first time today. Hand it off to Oquendo straight up the middle. Nothing there, but he bounces it out to the outside, try to make something happen. Lunges forward, may have gotten the chains. We'll see. It's like 3:07 to play here in the first quarter.
They will spot Oquendo 1 yard short.
And he is a yard shy of the line to gain, as you said. So it'll be third down and 1 as we duck beneath 3 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Once again, our thanks to Nate Glennie, who is running camera and submitting these time checks for us. Looks like Fitchburg will stick with the I formation. A new deep back, though. That's Duncan Poitras. Play fake to Poitras. Graham wants to roll to his left, throw to his left. Incomplete. Intended for the fullback. Barasano was lined up there. Pass was just a little bit out of his reach. Barasano had open field in front of him, would have gotten the first down and more. And now, Dan, I mean, it's 4th and 1. You're against a very explosive offense. I like this. Fitchburg is going to go for it here.
And really, if they don't get the conversion, it's not like they're giving them that much worse field position compared to where St. John's has started their drives.
I mean, they started the last one on the 20, so it'll be fine. 4th and 1. Fitchburg goes from the I formation. They get the jump. A hard count by Montgomery Graham draws the St. John's defensive line offside. You don't even have to run a play.
Oh, that's just worked out brilliantly there for the Red Raiders. They were selling hard for the run there. They sold too hard.
We have seen Fitchburg be caught out on that play a number of times, and they were able to catch St. John's out instead. So a free 5 yards, and more importantly, a free first down for Fitchburg. 2:14 to play here in the first quarter. Now handoff goes to Oquendo running to the right, finally gets a hole in front of him. Great blocking there by the right side of the Fitchburg offensive line. Anthony Oquendo is across the first down marker. Give a shout out to Nico Tolos there, one of the guys on the right side of the line for the Red Raiders. It's a first down for Fitchburg. See Tolos, the right tackle there, number 54, in that upward stance. Direct snap, ball is loose. I think Fitchburg was trying to catch St. John's napping, and they caught themselves. Like, the snap went to Oquendo, and then he almost immediately dropped it, and Barasano just fell on it. That was a very weird play, Dan.
Yeah, it was. But these teams have been running so high tempo, I'm just trying to keep track with the stats, and I didn't get a good look at it myself.
It goes down as a loss of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 16. 1:38 to play here in the first quarter for the Red Raiders as they are at the St. John's 49. Play fake, Graham looking long. Good protection, now fires long and to his left. Jump ball actually overthrown, incomplete. Looks like it was intended once again for Darnell Thomas. See Thomas gesturing back to the line. It'll be now 3rd down and 16 for Fitchburg High.
Still just trying to get a breath here, but I can tell you, in the Red Raider offense, my stats sheet, there's just one mess up there that I'm trying to fix.
So it'll be 3rd and a long 16 for Fitchburg. They're at the 49 of St. John's. They need to get to the 33. Still 1:11 to play here in the first quarter. Given the amount of offense we've seen, it's amazing that it is still the first quarter. Graham back to pass, good protection, throws to his left for Thomas, makes the catch at the sideline, well short of the line to gain, but he does pick up a decent chunk, and Fitchburg's kind of in the maroon zone here, Dan. I wouldn't be shocked to see them go for it again, even though it is going to be 4th down and about 7.
Again, I think it's worth the risk, especially since, as we mentioned, St. John's has had such great field position to start their drives, that even if the Raiders get nothing, and St. John's takes over the ball from this spot, the 40-yard line in their own territory, it'll be their worst starting position all day.
Exactly. They've had it at midfield, and the Red Raider 20-yard line. So getting it at the 40 is fine. Like, for the Fitchburg defense, it's like, oh, it's luxurious. We have 60 whole yards to defend. I formation, play fake. Graham is under pressure immediately, and he is taken down. Guess who? It's Quinn Herlihy. I believe that's Herlihy's 2nd sack of the game. Comes at a great time for St. John's. Blows up the play in the backfield. Loss of 6 on 4th down. St. John's will take over at their own 46-yard line with about 1:04 to play here in the first quarter.
And how many times have we seen St. John's able to blow through the line there and really pressure the Red Raiders in that regard?
Motion to the left side once again is Darren Appia. He'll get the carry on first down. cuts through the middle, breaks out of a couple tackles, breaks out of another before finally being brought down. Brian Rivera and Donovan DeLeon finally combining to make the tackle. And get into Fitchburg territory. And it looks like they're going to send Keith Sarcodier to the sideline after he had his helmet knocked loose. Good to see Sarcodier back on the field, Dan, after he suffered what looked to be a left shoulder injury early on. But he's fine. He just had his hat knocked loose, so he'll take a play off. It'll be 2nd down and 4 now for St. John's, back in Red Raider territory. They're at the 48. Miller takes the shotgun snap. Quick pass to the right side is complete despite 2 big hits. The one that knocked him down was delivered by Colin Dudek. Great job by Jake Newsham to make the catch, hang on to the ball, and then take a big stiff shoulder block. We'll take a look at this one again. The first hit comes from Richard Santana, but then Dudek with the big one, and then you see him, Dan, immediately reach down to check on Newsham. Now 1st down, the option pitch to the left side gets blown up, and you see Darren Appia pounding the field turf in frustration. He slipped up and blew a tire there. Once again, the only team that can stop St. John's appears to be St. John's. We rapidly approach the end of the first quarter, and that may well be it. Dan, this has been an up and down, back and forth, explosive first period of action from Pioneer Field in Shrewsbury. It ends with St. John's leading 14-7 and on the march.
It's been a slobber knocker of a game thus far. Just St. John's able to march down the field in their first drive. The Red Raiders having to work a little more methodically, a lot more field to cover, but they were able to make their way downfield and then some. And just back and forth it's gone. These two teams really been going right at it, and it's been an exciting one to call. And my goodness, it's been a challenging one to keep track of.
It certainly has. Like, both teams are really going with high-tempo offenses. Like, obviously, St. John's, they get the ball. They want to go right back up to the line. They want to get as many points on the board as they can. But even Fitchburg, Dan, Fitchburg's offense has been – let me just adjust that. Fitchburg's offense has been – really, trying to match pace, trying to match tempo with the Pioneers, and they're, having mixed results, let's say. They had their first drive that culminated with the big pass to Thomas. That really ended well for them, but other than that, Fitchburg's offense kind of hit and miss. St. John's has just been boom, 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 boom. They are hitting and going pretty much every play.
It's been hard to get the time there just to make their way downfield, but now we get ready to start this second quarter of play. And Ryan Mill looking drop back. He passes, throws deep over right side. That was hauled in, even with the DPI. Jake Newsham able to get that ball pulled in there, 15 yards from goal. They'll wave off the flag. It's a first down for the Pioneers.
Newsham had Santana hanging all over him, but he was able to avoid the crabby defender, make the catch. We'll take a look at this one again. Kind of a unique formation. They do the play action. Miller has all day to throw. Chucks it up. Pass was a little underthrown, actually. Part of the reason Santana was able to get in there. But Newsham, almost like a kick return, just positions himself as we go back to live action here now. This is, I believe, Ryan Coonan, the ball carrier once again.
Yep, they went back to Coonan there. I think a little more shorthanded with the grab there in terms of taking the ball, making up the middle, but only gets about a yard out of it on first down. And it'll be first and goal. I said the 15, it's the 10.
Coonan was the player who fumbled back on St. John's second possession, the only possession for the Pioneers that has not ended with a touchdown.
Now on second down, Miller rolling right side, throws, and that one is intercepted! Picked off by the Red Raiders. Chris Garcia able to snare that in the end zone and bring it in to this Pioneer drive.
What did I say, Dan? I just said the only Pioneer drive that hadn't ended with a touchdown. Well, here's another one. You see, Miller has a little bit of trouble with the snap, just getting the handle. May have thrown the timing off, and now he just throws. Frankly, that is a terrible decision to throw. Garcia was right there. I mean, I know he's short, but he's not that short, and he's wearing white. You should be able to see that, right?
Ooh, boy. Red Raiders will happily take advantage of that. Another miscue for St. John's, their second turnover of the game. And now their 10th of the season in just their third contest. Can't be making them feel too pleased about themselves. On first down, Monty Graham going to take it himself, try to make his way up the middle. Gets a decent amount of yardage there as a big hole opened up right in the middle of that line.
Fantastic job by the Raider offensive line. Want to shout out Sam Faulkner as well as Michael Cooper did good work on that play. Great job by the Raider offensive line. Just opening up a big hole up the middle for Monty Graham.
Gain of 9 yards, and now it's going to be Aquendo on second down. He'll have the first down, again making his way through the middle, just fighting for yardage. Gets to the 34. That'll be a first. They'll give him the 35, so make it 6. 10:40 to go in the second quarter. 14 for St. John, 7 for Fitchburg. Red Raiders having forced second turnover of the day for the Pioneers. Aquendo to the right hash this time, making his way up, gets a few yards on that.
See a little bit of disagreement there between the Fitchburg side and St. John's. Devin Barisano actually in playing peacekeeper, trying to cool the tempers on the Fitchburg side. We haven't seen that as many of the discipline issues that have plagued Fitchburg in the past this season.
That's been a positive thus far in this contest, as Graham just trying to keep on his feet and try to find somewhere to go, and nobody was open anywhere downfield. Ultimately, all he can do is run it out of bounds and stop the clock. With about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Colin Fitzgerald did a really good job there for St. John's, just keeping with Graham, keeping contained, not letting him turn the corner and get the edge. Ultimately just ran him out of bounds. It'll be third down and about 9.
Red Raiders 2 for 5 on third down today. They need to get to the 45 for a first down.
It would be great for them to just keep the ball to give their defense a breather here.
Play action, fake the throw to the handoff to Poitras, and now Graham really under pressure, and he's not in a position to throw. He gets wrapped up and sacked by Colin Fitzgerald.
We just talked about how Fitzgerald had done good work in containing Graham as he ran to the sideline. This time, Dan, he did it in the open field. Graham had absolutely nowhere to go. Every step he took, Colin Fitzgerald was there and getting closer and closer and closer until finally there was nothing he could do, and Fitzgerald made the sack.
With Graham being left-handed, he was just in a position where he was never going to be able to get a good throw off. So McCloskey into punt again for the Red Raiders. Gets a good one off the foot this time. They'll call for the fair catch. Was that touched there?
Fitchburg, that was definitely touched.
It'd be Fitchburg ball if it has been. Darnell Thomas is on top of it.
If it wasn't touched by the receiver trying to make the fair catch, it was definitely touched by one of St. John's other players trying to fall on it. I don't see how this isn't white ball here.
The officials are going to discuss this, but definitely looked like it was touched on the way.
See, right here, fair catch is called for by Coonan. He may have touched it there, but I feel like it definitely touched right there. The officials still have not made an indication. That is red ball. St. John's catches a break. They did not see definitive proof that it was touched by St. John's.
It's absolutely a huge break for the Pioneers. They'll have their worst starting position of the day, but by all arguments, they probably shouldn't have the ball.
On the replay, Dan, I was less sure on the replay than I was live that St. John's had touched it the second time, so that may well be just a good call and a big break for St. John's.
And of course, they don't have access to replay, so they've got to go with what they saw on the field on first down, the swing pass from quarterback to quarterback, essentially. Ryan Miller to Ryan Coonan. And it's a nice gain on first down for the Pioneers.
9-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 1.
Dan, the football does not look like a giant rock, but you could fool me because the Pioneers are riding this baby up and down the field.
And now another swing pass to the near side, and blowing a bit of a tire there was Michael Bonsu. But Bonsu's going to get enough for the first down, so he can't complain too much.
First time we've called Bonsu's name. He's a sophomore receiver. Did seem to lose his footing a little bit, so maybe could have gotten a bit more on that. But St. John's will be happy with the first down.
So they'll spot it at the 42-yard line, 5-yard gain on first down. Appia going to try to blow through the line this time. Big head of steam there. It'll be wrapped up at midfield.
Elijah Jellin, one of the defenders making the tackle for Fitchburg alongside O'Brien Porter.
So it'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for the Pioneers. As a handoff this time, and now right up the middle. That's big yardage there for the Pioneers. And taken out just short of the 10-yard line, Sebastian Romaine.
How often, Dan, do you see a guy wearing number 55 get a carry? But Sebastian Romaine looks like a natural here. Take a look at it again. See, he's lined up as the tailback there, gets the handoff right up the middle, and then there's a big hole to the left side. You've got offensive linemen, wide receivers set up down the field, ready to throw those downfield blocks. It's only the big hit by Miguel Torres that knocks Romaine down. Fitchburg will take their 2nd timeout. They've taken 2 of their 3 timeouts, Dan, already here. Both of them just to get a breather, just to give a little bit of time for their defense to catch up.
Because St. John's, they're just so efficient how they're able to get on the field and quickly make drives downfield. 6:35 to go in the first half of play. 14-7. The Pioneers threatening yet again.
Yet again, and once again, we want to thank Nate Glennie, who is running camera for us today and providing updates. So we have score and time updates for you. And, you know, this there, stay. I hate these things. They're good, and you should wear them, but I hate them. It's important. So 14-7 here in the 2nd quarter. St. John's once again, Dan, on the march as they are, again, we've said it a number of times and we'll say it again, the only team that has stopped St. John's today is St. John's.
They've had that turnover. They had the fumble in the red zone. They had the interception in the red zone. They've had 2 touchdowns, but they probably should have more by all rights.
They really should.
But coughing up the football has been a challenge for St. John's already now. 10 turnovers this season for the red and white from Shrewsbury. Compared to Fitchburg, they've only turned the ball over twice this season.
It's something that has been an improvement for Fitchburg as they've gone through this season. We mentioned the disciplinary issues they had, obviously, at the end of last season, a couple of games that we would rather not think about how they ended, quite frankly. That has not been an issue. The turnovers have not been an issue. Fitchburg is a side that is definitely maturing as the season goes on. But it's a very difficult task for them right now because they are facing, quite frankly, an explosive, dangerous offense that looks capable of scoring on any play.
And I say this with the least amount of offense to North Middlesex possible. North Middlesex was probably going to be Fitchburg's easiest game of the season, but with them going out and St. John's coming in and scoring a touchdown there from Sebastian Romaine, this has been the biggest test of the season for the Red Raiders.
Seabaz Romaine, as they call him in Shrewsbury. He's listed as a linebacker, but he's been the most explosive tailback that St. John's has, and it all starts with the offensive line, Dan. Like, I'm not saying you or I would have scored on that play, but you or I would have gotten 4 or 5 yards there. That was an enormous hole opened up by the Pioneer lineman.
And so Romaine wearing that linebacker's number 55, coming in, taking snaps from the backfield and running like a man possessed. 2 carries, 50 yards. And that's 6 more points for St. John's, plus the extra point from Sam LaValle. 21-7, the Pioneers lead.
St. John's has had 5 possessions, Dan, 3 times they've marched down the field effortlessly and scored a touchdown. Twice they've marched down the field effortlessly and then turned the ball over.
And looking at the stats right now, as I've got them, I have St. John's 21 plays for 235 yards. That's averaging 11 yards a play.
Again, that seems good. I will not pretend to be a football coach. I never played, but that sounds good.
And meanwhile, for the Red Raiders, they have 93 yards of offense on 21 plays. That's, of course, net. They've lost a lot of yards on various miscues, sacks, botch snaps, this and that.
Fitchburg's offense has looked capable, it maybe not of hanging with St. John's punch for punch, but at least of scoring. I don't think Fitchburg is going to be shut out for the remainder of this game or anything, but the offense needs to step up, and frankly, the defense just needs to get a stop.
And they're going to rule that was actually caught in the end zone, and that's an automatic touchback. You can't choose to take it out of the end zone in the NFHS rulebook. Because it was caught in the end zone and controlled there, they give the touchback automatically. Red Raiders will start with the ball on the 20-yard line.
I feel like the officials may have given Fitchburg a bit of a present there. Brian Rivera ran into another guy just trying to get out of the end zone and looked like he was going to be hit well before he crossed the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at it again. One guy goes back, one guy goes forward. I mean, maybe Rivera stepped into the end zone, but he definitely didn't catch that ball in the end zone. Regardless, it will be 1st and 10 for Fitchburg at their own 20-yard line. Barasano and Oquendo once again the tailbacks.
And Arpano is in at quarterback, trying to change things up this time. On first down, that option handoff, Oquendo trying to get to the far side, to the near side, to his right side, beyond the flanks to the numbers, and he's able to push forward for a gain of 5.
Coming up on the halfway point of the second quarter here, Fitchburg still in this game, but if they were to, if they don't put points on the board here and St. John's does, it's going to be pretty interesting. Of course, at the same time, it's worth remembering, Dan, St. John's did defer, I believe, at the start of the game.
They did, so Fitchburg should start with the ball to start this second half. Of course,
Fitchburg deferred, excuse me.
Yep, Fitchburg should start with the ball to start the second half. Of course, 2 weeks ago we saw with Hingham, that didn't happen, did it?
No.
And Arpano is sacked.
And pushing and shoving after the play. I think there are actually 2 flags as well. The sack goes to Thomas Belcito, coming on the DB blitz. But there was pushing and shoving afterward. We'll see if we catch it here on the replay. There's the sack, but then the interesting stuff, it's instigated by Fitchburg, and then the big shove, Nico Tolos delivered a little bit of a push to Brett Jolly, to which Jolly took great offense. He was not jolly about it, to be quite frank. So Tolos gives a little bit of a push, which I will say, you should not have done, Nico. That was bad. But at the same time, it was a little bit of a push. Brett Jolly turns around, delivers a shove, knocks Tolos on his backside, and it works out as a 15-yard penalty against St. John's, handing the Red Raiders a fresh set of downs.
So as bad as gamesmanship might be, how unsporting that might be, it did earn the Red Raiders a first down and turn what would have been a 3rd and 13 into a fresh set of downs. Arpano throws to the far side. He wants Darnell Thomas. Double coverage there, and it was broken up there by John Malisi and Devin Gagnon.
I think Malisi was the one who went up and swatted that ball away. But Dan, you're right. Darnell Thomas has basically been the focus of the offensive attack, at least through the air. Now a hold against Fitchburg will get this play called back. We'll see if we can see it here. Oh yeah, it's pretty obvious. Up at the top of the screen there, you saw Orion Cox, the left tackle, get a big handful of jersey. Once you see the jersey kind of separate from the pads and you start seeing the pads under the shirt there, it's pretty obvious that there was a hold.
So from the spot, they'll march it back. And so they've given him the 23-yard line. That's 9 yards, okay.
1st and 20 from the 23.
5:22 to play here in the first half.
So up the middle it will go, and you could hear the St. John's crowd, the bench yelling middle, because they all saw what was going on there, and the Red Raiders able to get it to the 27.
Something we usually hear. We hear a lot of that, Dan, when we're at Elliott Field, when the Falcons are on the near sideline. You hear their coaches or in the box next to us calling out the play as it's coming. But here, as we're, the Raiders are on the road again. This game taking place in Shrewsbury. St. John's is the near side home team, so we're able to hear their sideline a lot more clearly.
About 5 minutes to go in the first half, 21-7, and that ball didn't quite go out of the hands of Arpano as he wanted.
Arpano was under pressure. He was kind of backpedaling and moving to his left as he threw that ball. He wasn't able to get his feet under him and get as much behind the pass as he would have wanted. The result was a wobbly, underthrown pass that fell incomplete.
That's a sideline warning. Do not be in front of the blue line. It's hot. Sideline warning, red. Back up!
St. John's called for a sideline warning.
And you can actually hear, the side judge there saying that's a sideline warning. Do not be, I believe he said, maybe in front of the line. So St. John's getting a little overly, let's say, enthusiastic in a number of ways.
This will bring up 3rd and 16, if I've got my count right. And Monty Graham taking the end around there from Arpano, and it didn't work, but you've got to appreciate the ambitiousness.
It's something new. It's a wrinkle. If you introduce the possibility that Montgomery Graham can line up as a wide receiver, take the pitch on, say, a jet sweep or so, eventually he might throw the ball from there. This time it didn't work. It didn't go well. Really nothing doing there. Great job by St. John's. Actually, once again, guess who? It's Seabass Romaine, who was there playing linebacker, breaking that play up. Graham actually lost the football and then just kind of sat on it. Fitchburg will have to kick it away as we go below 4 minutes to play here in the first half.
And that one is blocked. There's not much McCloskey could have done on that one. Just everyone blowing through the line there.
Brian Brennan, the one who fell on it. I believe he's the one who blocked it. Things are falling apart very quickly for Fitchburg here, Dan. St. John's looks the better side. They certainly have the more explosive offense. They have another chance to break through here. And actually, it was not Brennan who fell on it, who blocked it. It was Quinn Herlihy. We've seen Herlihy coming from that left defensive end spot a couple of times with some big sacks. This time he breaks through with a punt block.
And on first down, that swing pass left side, taken in by St. John's. Staying on his feet was Michael Bonsu. And get a couple of yards on that.
Second time today that St. John's takes over inside the red zone. They've also had two drives start at midfield. One drive start at their own 42. That was their worst field position. The only team that has stopped St. John's has been St. John's.
On second down, Appia blowing through the middle. He's going to have a touchdown.
Darren Apaya takes it in. St. John's is now breaking this one wide open. See him there lined up deep in the pistol formation. He's 10, 11 yards backfield at the snap. Gives him a running start. St. John's offensive line opens a big hole. Apaya is at full steam when he takes the handoff. He bursts through for the score.
Extra point is up, and it is good. 3:09 to go in the first half. The Pioneers lead the Red Raiders by a score of 28-7.
Dan, when we first started this game, the first couple of possessions, St. John's marches down the field and scores. Fitchburg gets the big pass to Darnell Thomas and scores. It looks like, the word you used was barn burner. Right now, Fitchburg's barn is on fire, but I would not call this a barn burner.
at the very beginning of this game, it looked like we were going to be in for a high-scoring one. We still look like we're going to be in for a high-scoring one.
Yeah, one team does have a very high score already, especially considering that there's still just about 3 minutes to play in the first half. But it is early. You know, Fitchburg's offense has not looked incapable of moving the ball down the field. It's just, you know, they need a little bit more consistency, and the big thing is somehow that defense has to get a stop. And also somehow this mask has to stay up here. I'm going to staple it to my nose.
So kicked off here. This one booming through the air. Not going to make it to the end zone this time. Pulled in around the 3-yard line by the Red Raiders. Who will make it to just past the 20-yard line. Brian Rivera with the return for the Red and Gray. But now the Red Raiders with about 3 minutes to go in the first half. Just going to try to make something of it. Try to make it a little more competitive.
Looks like Montgomery Graham is back in.
First and 10 from the 21-yard line.
I believe he's going to be relaying the signals and playing quarterback.
So the Raiders now, from my count, 79 yards of offense. They've had a lot of plays where they've lost yardage in this contest. As a run up the middle on first down. Pushing through to the 25-yard line. I believe it was. You have Rivera on that run?
Yes.
So now second down and a gain of 5 for Rivera. We'll give it to him. To the 26-yard line. Now the Raiders going with just one in the backfield, and that's Aquendo. He'll take this one up the middle again, trying to force his way through the yardage, churning the feet. Looks like they're going to give him the first down. Down at the 32, and then that was a flag.
They had Aquendo lined up as the tailback. They also brought in Colin Dudek as a fullback, kind of that broken eye formation. Dudek lining up to the left of center in the backfield. Threw a good block there, but we'll check the flag, see if it may be coming back. Spencer Burns guilty of the infraction. Dan, there's a word that we like to break out at times like this when there are personal fouls and pushing and shoving going around. And darn it, I wouldn't be a football commentator if I didn't say that this game is getting chippy.
A little bit. That's the second time today that we've seen St. John's called for unsportsmanlike conduct. And that time definitely unwarranted considering how, you know, the last time may have been instigated a little bit. This time, not so much.
I mean, you know, you hear it a lot in hockey, right? You know, the guy who retaliates is the one who gets called. We saw that on the first time that St. John's got penalized. But you know, chippy is a word that you only really see used in this context. It's not like, this reminds me of a product by Lay's. It's very chippy. No, it's always about a football game that is on the verge of getting out of hand.
2:11 to go in the first half. Deep ball. Looking on the far side. Wanted Donovan DeLeon, but incomplete. Just overthrown by a little bit. John Malisi with the pass coverage there for the Pioneers.
2 minutes 11 to play here in the second quarter. Fitchburg would very much like to get into the end zone before the end of this first half, get it back to within a 2-score game, not give the ball to St. John's, who could very well make it a 4-score game before halftime.
St. John's very much a challenging team. On second down, a run up the middle just past midfield. Barasano running with it. And we're going to see another penalty flag coming in as these teams just can't stop engaging after the whistle.
That time Barasano was never down, but his momentum was absolutely stymied. The flag came in well after the fact. I didn't see anything that really warranted it, but we'll check the replay, see if we can see anything. So right there at the top of your screen, you've got pushing and shoving going on, a little shoulder thrown. And the flag did come from the far side. There are personal fouls called against both teams there. Honestly, Dan, I think that's a case of the officials stepping in and throwing a flag just to tell the players, hey, cut it out. Because these are some football players who may be in need of being told, hey, cut it out. You know, it's getting a little dicey there. And, you know, the officials are just like, calm down, everything's fine. We're playing football, we're having fun. It's a nice, beautiful Saturday afternoon. We're in lovely Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. We're not. We're in the Workers Credit Union studios here at FATV, which are equally loving. But, you know, it's a nice, pleasant afternoon. Kids just need to take a breath, calm down, play some football, right? That's all.
So 1:57 to go in the first half of play. 28 for St. John's, 7 for Fitchburg. Stat check here, St. John's 251 yards of total offense. The Red Raiders at 93.
Both teams have used all of their timeouts as well.
And whenever those timeouts, I mean, I haven't been keeping track of them myself, not so much, but it definitely looked like the two teams really needed a break. Whoever called that timeout, probably a great idea.
Yeah, just, you know, again, take a breath, calm down. Everything's fine. We're just playing football.
The 3rd and 7, Raiders need to get to the Pioneer 43-yard line for a first down. This is Aquendo trying to move his feet. You could see the second effort after contact. He's going to get most of the yards, but I don't think he's going to get all of the yards.
Very close. They are going to stop the clock, maybe for a measurement, maybe just to move the chains. I think they're going to give it to him.
That's a very good spot they've given him. And they will, in fact, give it to him.
St. John's is not happy. You can hear the consternation from the Pioneer sideline. Fitchburg is happy with it. They'll take it. So move the chains as we enter the dying moments here of the first half. Fitchburg set up at the Pioneer 43-yard line, looking to get on the board one more time.
See that I formation again, and nothing going there. Justice Hathaway, the junior defensive lineman, wrapping up Barisano for a loss of 2.
Devin Barisano filed a motion to go through the middle of the field, and Justice Hathaway said motion denied. I made Dan laugh. I'm happy.
Beautifully spoken, and really you can't describe that play any better than that. Hathaway sees Barisano coming. He disengages from the lineman there and just wraps up Barisano for a loss. Now the pitch out to Aquendo, gets to the near side flank. He's not going to get much farther than that, only about 3 yards.
Could hear the St. John sideline calling out 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. Colin Dudek on that last play had some difficulty getting off the field. We'll have to keep an eye on him, see if he comes back to this one.
3-yard gain on the play.
So the clock stopped with 49 seconds to go in the first half. The Pioneers leading by 3 touchdowns in this contest. And
I believe St. John's actually does have one more timeout, Dan.
Yep, Nate was reporting to us that he saw zeros on the scoreboard for timeouts, but they weren't keeping track of them. There was a similar issue last week in Grafton where it said 5 timeouts on both sides for the entire game.
Oh, yep. I remember those days. You know, Dave and Mike up in the press box would always, you know, around the 4th timeout in a 3-score game, you would get a little bit ranty about just how many timeouts there used to be.
That was an old adjustment made back when Massachusetts used the NCAA rule book all the way back in 2018 and points before. But now the NFHS rule book mandating 3 timeouts. They decided not to make any adjustments to that. Decided that was good enough. 3rd and 9 it's going to be. And Graham going to pass a throw over the middle. That's going to be caught. Donovan DeLeon pulling that one in for his first reception of the season.
Beautiful sliding catch by Donovan DeLeon on a great pass by Montgomery Graham. St. John's bit very hard on the play fake. Graham had all day to throw. Kind of surprising that they would bite this hard on 3rd and 9, but fantastic protection in front of Graham. The entire offensive line doing their job there. Graham, with plenty of time to throw, delivers a strike to a sliding DeLeon. They'll stop the clock to move the chains, but Fitchburg will stop it even more, taking what I believe is their final timeout of the first half.
I can tell you that I'm certain of. So
they have definitely taken 3.
43 seconds to go in the first half of play. The Raiders trying to cut into this Pioneer lead. 21 points it stands right now. Graham through the air, 4 of 8 for 84 yards, and he also had that touchdown.
Just want to mention one more time before we head back to live action, some of the underwriters who make this and every broadcast possible. FATV wishes to extend its thanks to Minuteman Press, Mart, and the Sentinel and Enterprise, some of the great organizations that help underwrite this and every remote production here on FATV.
24 yards to pay dirt for the Red Raiders on 1st and 10. Graham looking for it. That'll be incomplete. And asking for a flag is Donovan DeLeon, but John Malisi's defense considered more than legal enough. Or was it?
There is a flag on the play. I don't believe it was for Malisi's coverage. It's away from the play, but we'll check.
I did not think that Malisi interfered well enough. I mean, we see the flag there on the far side.
Yeah, the flag's at about the 20-yard line. It might have been in the area of a hold or something. Unsportsmanlike conduct is indicated on Fitchburg. Actually, you see there, it's thrown by the side judge. I believe they're going to penalize DeLeon for his demonstrative questioning of the officiating. He was enthusiastic, perhaps to an undue degree.
So this is going to be 2nd and 25 now, although I think the distance is more or less irrelevant because I think they need the end zone. And so Graham going to roll to his left, get some time. Now he's going to run with it. I think I saw a flag in the background there as Graham's able to make it back to the 24-yard line, but we're going to see if any of that will count.
Nah, this one's coming back. There's a flag in the backfield. You can even see the referee being like, hey, come back over this way. We're coming back here.
That 15-yard gain will go down as illegal. And if it's a hold, remember it's from the spot of where the ball was minus 10 yards from the hold, so that would be even more damaging. And yeah, that looks like a hold from the 47-yard line. This is going to be 3rd and Worcester. 3rd and Leicester, maybe, at this point.
I mean, it's been a while since I lived in Marlboro. I used to know all the towns in and around Shrewsbury. I mean, heck, it might be 3rd and Marlboro. Can it be 3rd and Marlboro?
Marlboro's due to the...
Marlboro's the wrong way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Dang it. All right.
So that's going to mark the line of scrimmage back to the Raider 48-yard line. That was a 13-yard penalty. So it's 2nd and 38 is what it is. And so fully expecting a pass on this 2nd down.
You could hear the Pioneer sideline shouting, nothing big, just reminding their players, you know, there's plenty of field they can defend and not much time for Fitchburg.
So if I got my down and distance right, it's now 3rd and 34 now with only seconds to go.
I think Fitchburg is just going to let the clock run out. They don't like their odds. They will go to the locker rooms, taking a 28-7 deficit into the lockers as they head to halftime. Dan, it was it looked promising for Fitchburg early going in this one. You know, St. John's was able to march down the field on their first possession and get into the end zone. But, you know, Fitchburg answered right back. The big pass from Montgomery Graham to Darnell Thomas tied the game up. Ever since that first Fitchburg score, though, it has been all St. John's.
Indeed it has, and St. John's has just been driving like men possessed down the field. I mean, as you've said a couple of times before, the only people who could really stop St. John's is St. John's. They've turned the ball over twice. I mean, those turnovers that have been an issue the first 2 games of the season for St. John's, still kind of an issue, but when you've got 4 scores on the board, you've got more points in this game than you had in your first 2 contests. They were held to 10 by Catholic Memorial, held to 7 by St. John's Prep of Danvers. But now 28 in the first half, and you got to think, if you're a Pioneers fan and if you're a Pioneers player, you've got to be feeling pretty good about yourself right now.
It's been just a great first half for St. John's. Again, 28-7. They've had 6 possessions, 4 of which have ended with a touchdown, 2 of which have ended with a turnover. There was the fumble. There was the interception. They almost muffed a punt in there as well. So a little bit sloppy for St. John's, but it's, they look basically, I don't want to say unstoppable, but Fitchburg has not been able to stop them.
It's been very challenging. In St. John's, as we mentioned, the last 3 years, they've won the Central Mass Championship in Division III, the highest division that Central Mass has to offer. When they redraw the divisions over this summer, St. John's is going to be, and when the 8 divisions, it's like each of the regions are going to have 8 divisions. Mm-hmm. And with a number of teams. The point is that statewide, each division is going to have 35 or so teams in it.
Okay.
And St. John's is certainly going into Division I, where they probably would be normally if they were an Eastern Mass school. Mm-hmm. But because Central Mass only has Division 3 to 8, they don't have Divisions 1 and 2 on offer in Central Mass because of the lack of numbers around here.
Right.
So St. John's would be in a higher division, and they are going to be in a higher division come this fall. For comparison's sake, Fitchburg is expected to go into Division 3 out of 8. But still, so St. John's, historically over the years and with their enrollment and all that good stuff, I mean, they've always been a big powerhouse of a school. And as we know, this was going to be one of the most challenging games that Fitchburg was going to have to play.
And again, this was originally scheduled for Fitchburg as a game against North Middlesex. But, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, given that it's the middle of April. Dan and I are calling the game from the studios here at FATV, and we're wearing these. The season is weird, and weird things happen, and a weird thing happened to North Middlesex, and now they're not playing today.
Yep, a few weird things. So what ended up happening there was North Middlesex was supposed to play Westboro last week. Westboro couldn't get through protocol. Mm-hmm. They needed a new opponent. They found Auburn, who they were going to play this Thanksgiving in a one-off, but for whatever reason, they could only get the game in on Tuesday. And
okay.
So they played North Middlesex and Auburn. They played Tuesday, and Auburn won that game. North Middlesex fell to 0-3, and I believe what happened from there is once they had that game on the schedule, I mean, it was, I think, around Sunday that the decision was made that the idea of playing a team on 72 hours after the previous game,
no,
not a great idea.
No, don't do that.
So,
especially not given that you're already kind of scotch taping a season together as you go in April. Don't do that.
Yep, so
don't do that.
So they called that game off, so Fitchburg needed an opponent, and St. John's, you look at their schedule, you look who they've played this year. They played Catholic Memorial back on March the 13th, and then big jump, April 3rd was when they were supposed to was their next game against St. John's Prep. They were supposed to play Xaverian on the 20th. Xaverian couldn't get through protocol. Mm-hmm. Couldn't find another opponent. They were supposed to play BC High the following week. Couldn't get through protocol. Couldn't find another opponent. They were supposed to play Malden Catholic this week, and that didn't work out either.
That didn't work out either.
And so they were able to find Fitchburg this time around. I think by this point, the Catholic Conference gave up on trying to keep all of the play inside that bubble and allowed schools to really just go out and...
Can you find another team to play football against? Great. Mazel tov. Go play football. They probably didn't say that because it's a Catholic conference, but go play football. It's fine.
And so that's how we get this wonderful blast for the past this week, St. John's and Fitchburg, these two teams who have gone at it year in and year out back in the day, but they hadn't played each other on the gridiron since 2015. Of course, St. John's dominated the rivalry throughout the years. The last time Fitchburg beat them was 2014, that playoff game in which the Red Raiders made that magical run to the state semifinals. But other than that, though, St. John's has dominated this rivalry, and it looks like they've been picking up where they left off.
It has been a dominant performance. Dominant is certainly a very good word for it. St. John's, again, leading this game 28-7 at halftime. While we have some time here, folks, we want to talk about some of the wonderful things going on, in and around Fitchburg, and we'll talk a little bit about the Crocker Field Restoration Committee. Of course, historic Crocker Field, recognized for its beauty, and it is listed on the National Register of Historical Places. Located in the heart of Fitchburg and built in 1918, this Central Massachusetts field has a fabled history in the hearts of Fitchburg High School alumni and a magnificent future in the Fitchburg community, and you can be part of the restoration of Crocker Field and donate today. You can learn how you can help the Crocker Field Restoration Committee online at crockerfield.org, or you can send donations directly to Crocker Field Restoration, 140 Arnhow Farm Road here in Fitchburg, 01420, and, of course, all donations are, of course, tax deductible.
Indeed, and so now let's go look at the first half stats. I think I've got them all figured out.
Okay.
So, St. John's, 164 yards on the ground, 87 yards through the air for 251 yards total.
Seems good.
Fitchburg, 39 yards on the ground, 84 through the air for 123 total. Again, those are net yards. Fitchburg has gained more than 39 yards on the ground, but they've also lost quite a lot of yards on the ground as well.
They've had a lot of sacks and a lot of running plays blown up in the backfield. We saw a botched snap, a bad toss play a bad toss play out to Montgomery Graham. And, of course, again, Graham has been sacked a number of times. The St. John's defensive line has just been fantastic, Dan. Quinn Herlihy, the junior defensive end, has been a force to be reckoned with. The right side of the Raider offensive line really has not been able to contain him. And that's something they're going to need to do if they need to get more points on the board and, come back and win this game.
And yes, for St. John's, it's not unusual to see, a bunch of these players, go Division I in regards to playing at the next level. And I know they've got a few commits on their roster this season. I can't remember off the top of my head who they are, but St. John's playing like one of the powerhouse teams that they have been year in and year out in Central Mass. Some other individual statistics: Ryan Miller, 7 for 8 through the air for 87 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Darren Apia, 10 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sebastian Romaine, 2 for 50 and a touchdown. Matthew Marchese had the catch for 10 yards for a touchdown. Those were the touchdowns for St. John's. And the lead receiver for the Pioneers, Jake Newsham, 3 catches for 60 yards. And meanwhile, for the Red Raiders, Montgomery Graham is 4 of 9 for 84 yards. He's also had 9 carries for -10. I count sacks as minus rushes.
Right.
Because that's how you do it in college, at least. I don't know if the high school one has a different standard. I don't really care. Anthony Aquendo, 14 carries for 54 yards. Devin Barisano, 4 carries for 8 yards. And the catches made by Darnell Thomas, 3 for 66 and a touchdown. And Donovan DeLeon, 1 for 18 yards. But yeah, that's really been one. And then penalties, I have 4 for 48 for St. John's, 5 for 48 as well for Fitchburg. I mean, the unsportsmanlike conduct's looming a bit large there.
It's been, again, the word we use, the word we always bust out when a football game gets chippy is chippy. It's been, teams, getting a little bit up in each other's face, some personal fouls here and there. The discipline, again, has not been a major factor, excuse me, for Fitchburg, but, it's something to keep an eye on. And really, Dan, it just, if Fitchburg wants to come back in this game, the offense has to be a little more consistent. They need to open it up a little bit. They've got to find some way to at least slow down St. John's on offense. They have so many versatile weapons. You talk about Apaya, you talk about, Seabass Romaine has only touched the ball, 2 or 3 times. He had a pretty good kick return and 2 carries for 50 yards, but I mean, that is a force to be reckoned with. If he lines up in the backfield, you've got to be able to account for him. It's a very tough task for the Fitchburg defense, but they need to be able to stand up and, I don't want to say you have to shut St. John's out in the second half because that seems like, a pretty tall order. But if you're going to have any chance at all, the offense obviously has to get a bunch of points on the board, and the defense, you've got to think they have to hold them to 1, maybe 2 touchdowns. Like, it's unrealistic to expect to ask the offense to come up with more than 3 or 4, right? The defense has to get some stops.
They do, and they also have to do a great job at stopping that pass rush that rush from the defensive line there for St. John's, because how many times have we seen plays blow up in the backfield because Fitchburg didn't have time to really get things in motion?
Exactly. It's been, it's a very tough task for the Fitchburg offensive line, right? Because St. John's knows they're up by 3 scores. Their offense is humming. They're probably going to put more points on the board. Fitchburg, if they want to get back into this game, they're going to be doing it through the air, right? So you're going to send, these DB blitzes we've seen. We've seen just Quinn Herlihy from the defensive end position just bursting through the offensive line. So they're going to be bringing the pressure, and the onus is going to be on the offensive line to protect Montgomery Graham, and then on Graham himself to make quick decisions like we saw on the touchdown pass to Darnell Thomas, get the ball out of his hands quickly and try to make something happen, penalize St. John's, force them to back off of that pass rush.
And one other thing I'd like to point out with St. John's is how many of these, we've called out a lot of these St. John's players today, and so many of them are juniors or maybe a couple of sophomores, but very few seniors in this as well. Only 11 seniors of the 45 on the official roster today for St. John's.
Yeah, their quarterback, Ryan Miller, he's a sophomore. We've mentioned Sebaz Romaine, he's a junior. Quinn Herlihy's a junior. So this St. John's team looks very, very, very formidable. And, I was going to say next year, but that's a very good – they're going to get better, and they're going to come back for another season and maybe even a season after that, because I don't know how they're handling this.
I mean, I imagine when we get to the fall, hopefully –
the fall will be their senior year.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is still the you just treat it as if this was the 2020 season, basically.
Essentially.
Yep. Apia is a senior. I think he was basically the only one who's done, significant things for St. John's today. But St. John's has been as formidable as we expected. There's a reason why they're 0-2 but still ranked number 4 in Central Mass. It's because because they know the difficulty of opponents they played the first 2 games. You played the Division I state champion from last season, and then the Division I runner-up from last season.
That's a pretty tough schedule, not going to lie.
It's incredibly tough to start there. BC High was the number 4 seed in South Division I last year in the playoffs. Severian is 3-0. They weren't that good last year, but they've bounced back. Those are the other 2 teams St. John's are scheduled to play, and those in the next 2 weeks is how they're going to be doing that one. But, of course, the schedules this season, as we've seen, are more merely suggestions.
It's hopes, it's ambition, right?
So now getting ready to start this 3rd quarter of play. Sam LaValle to kick off for the Pioneers. Blasts this one downfield and through the end zone for a touchback.
St. John's just explosive on every facet of the ball, including just kicking it. Sam LaValle, we've seen some very good extra points from him. This time the kickoff just boomed through the end zone. So Fitchburg will take over once again, 1st and 10 at their own 20. And Dan, we've talked about the offense needing to open it up and get back into this game. For Fitchburg, that starts right now.
So that'll be the thought for the Red Raiders, is how they'll be able to adjust with halftime. Greg Graham has talked with his team, and hopefully we'll see what they can do for changes here in this 3rd quarter of play. Raiders have one in the backfield there in the handoff on 1st down, trying to plow through the middle. It's a gain of a couple of yards for the Red Raiders. So that was Aquendo with carry.
2-yard gain.
2 yards gained on the ground on 1st down to start this 2nd half of play. The Red Raiders in the road white uniforms with the red helmets. They'll be going from left to right in this 3rd quarter. St. John's in the home red uniforms with white numbers and trim and stripes, going right to left in this 3rd quarter of play. See Dudek as the fullback in the backfield. Graham looking to throw near side. That's going to be caught on the swing pass. DeLeon's going to have that one just past the 30-yard line. 1st down for the Red and Gray.
Donovan DeLeon playing a bigger part in the offense late in the 2nd quarter and early in the 3rd, Early on, Dan, it had been a lot of passes to Darnell Thomas and really nobody else, but DeLeon is getting back into the play here.
That's something to watch for the Red Raiders, is just what they have for passing options. They've mostly been going to Brian Rivera the first couple of weeks. Darnell Thomas, he did have that one touchdown catch against Hingham. Didn't really target him last week against Grafton. It was all Brian Rivera and then a couple passes to Barisano. And now on first down, this is Barisano, met right there at the 35 by two defenders. So you see, that was Sam Faulkner trying to create some space there. Barisano will have the carry for a couple.
4-yard gain.
Faulkner did a good job opening up what hole that he could.
So a 4-yard gain for Barisano. Oquendo has had more success on the ground than Barisano today. Last week they were pretty even, and the week before Barisano a little better there, at least in terms of the touchdowns. 3 touchdown runs against Hingham as Graham rolling to the right side, ball loose, but the play was already dead by that point.
Interesting looking play there, Dan. Looked like Graham was kind of shuffling as though to set up an option play, and now, is this Graham himself doubled over here? Can't really see.
2-yard loss on the play. 3rd and 8.
They'll take a look at him. It is in fact the quarterback, Montgomery Graham. So we'll keep an eye on him. He'll have to head to the sideline for at least one play. Philip Arpano will check back in at quarterback. Raiders went with Arpano at quarterback for a series earlier. Didn't really do much. Now he comes back in to replace the injured Graham.
I mentioned last week against Grafton, there were a few series that Arpano swapped in for a series. A throw over the middle, and that one incomplete, just through the hands there of Thomas.
Had to get it over Sebaz Romaine and Alice Zumakis. Did that, but he was unable to find Darnell Thomas. That'll bring up 4th down. I think the Raiders will send out the punting unit, although that does not guarantee that they're actually going to be able to kick this one very far away.
Yeah, the last punt was swallowed up by St. John's.
The man to watch is Quinn Herlihy, big number 87. You see him lined up there as the left end. Just kind of towering over the crouched lineman of the Raiders.
This time they don't rush that hard. And McCloskey gets a pretty good one off. Ultimately, the Raiders will down it at the 24-yard line.
And at some point, Dan, if you're St. John's and if you continue with this comfortable advantage, we might see some. I mean, it's early in the 3rd quarter, and you're only up by 3 touchdowns. I don't think they're going to pull the quarterback now, but we might get a little bit deeper into this depth chart.
As we mentioned before, though, from what I know, that St. John's isn't afraid to switch up quarterbacks. Ryan Coonan and Jock DeRocher have seen snaps behind the center this season. Miller is still the quarterback for the Pioneers on first down. Miller with some time, swings it over onto the near side, and that went nowhere fast. Keith Sarkodier with the catch, but I don't think that was positive yardage gained.
Devin Barisano made the tackle, but you see him having trouble getting off the field, favoring that left shoulder very severely. Now he's actually down, unable to get off the field. Devin Barisano grabbing it again at that left shoulder, made the hit on that play and immediately started heading for the sideline. Take a look at it here. It's going to be down at the bottom of your screen. Our Barisano rather is lined up kind of as the nickel cornerback. Diagnoses the screen, does a good job getting out there, delivers the hit. It may have actually been the right shoulder. That was the one that he led with. And you see him immediately just, doubled over. He ultimately went down to the turf for a moment before heading off to the sideline. So we'll keep an eye on him, see if he gets back into this one.
It was a loss of 5 yards. So Pia takes it on on second down, and he's able to get to about the 22-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long, though, for the Pioneers.
Miguel Torres with the hit for Fitchburg. They'll get a little lighter on defense. Send O'Brien Porter to the sideline. I believe that was Chris Garcia who checked in.
Now it brings up a 3rd down, and they try to get to DeRocher. That was a backwards pass, so that was a fumble. Ball is still loose. See how they want to rule this.
Well, Mark Fields lost his helmet, but he came out with the football. I don't. Yeah, there's a flag down. I don't see how you can yank a guy's helmet off and have that be legal. So I think Fitchburg may be called for a flag here for a personal foul pulling of the face mask.
Let's have a look. DeRocher not able to pull that one in. Ball loose down on the floor.
So they're going to call a dead ball personal foul against Jesus Padilla for essentially ripping the helmet off of Mark Fields. Fields just doing his job as an offensive lineman, trying to fall on the football. Meanwhile, Padilla, trying to make something happen for the defense, got overzealous, wound up yanking the helmet off of Fields. You can't do that. That's 15 yards and an automatic 1st down. So St. John's has handed a break there, Dan.
They spotted the ball at the 19-yard line, and the 15 yards for the personal foul was just enough to give them the 1st. And so on 1st down this time, Sarkodie able to pull that one, and this time I think it will be positive yards, but not much more than that.
St. John's is trying to make this swing pass work, and it's a little bit like fetch. It's not going to work. Sarkodie this time was open, had blockers in front of him, but Miller's pass was a little bit too far ahead of him. Sarkodie could only lunge forward and make the catch. By that time, he had hit the turf, and he was down.
Now run on 2nd down.
It's Ben Wing, the ball carrier.
Sophomore linebacker taking his shot at running back there.
You know, Dan, I think the positions listed here on the depth chart are like suggestions because they've had multiple linebackers take carries.
Probably just give us one position, not just the primary one. That was a nice catch pulled in there.
First time we've seen that empty backfield look from St. John's. Pass completed out to Jake Newsham.
So they're going to mark him short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th and very short.
I think they might actually call for a measurement. You can hear the St. John's coaches saying, 4th down if we don't get it, get up there. So they're, telling their defense that they're going to go for it. I'm kind of surprised that they're bringing this in for a measurement, Dan. Maybe we've got the parallax going on, but this seems pretty obviously short to me.
There's always that chance that whoever set the marker there on the chain that they use to measure, they could have the chain set just a little off. But that looks far more obvious that they're not there.
Yeah, no. That's like...
Well, if anything, though, I think it was a little bit off because it looked like it was 4th and about half a yard to gain, but after the measurement, it's 4th and a whole yard to gain.
So kind of backfired there on St. John's.
Yeah.
But hey, now they know. Knowing is half the battle and all that.
So spotted at the 43-yard line. About halfway through the 3rd quarter of play.
They basically need to get just shy of the 44. I'm a little surprised they don't just line up and go with a QB sneak here.
And so this one is going to be blown up in the backfield. They go to the sure-handed Apia, and he can't get to the 40.
Eric's in danger. The final hit wrapping him up. Saw Angel Alejandro in there as well. We'll take a look at it again. Fitchburg stacks the line, busts through. Alejandro's the first man. The initial hit is by Padilla. Devin Barasano's back on the field after his injury. You actually see Padilla there right at the end of the play, kind of doubled over, so we'll keep an eye on him. But Dan, we talked about the need for Fitchburg's defense to get a big stop. They got a big stop.
And we're going to have a mask break here as we've reached basically the halfway point. 6:21 to go in the third quarter of play. That's about halfway, so we'll run with that. And still 28-7 in favor of St. John's, but that's definitely a big stop for the Red Raiders to try to springboard their way back into this game.
Big stop for the defense. You see there Jesus Padilla, one of the guys responsible for it, just doubled over, maybe favoring his left shoulder on the sideline, so we'll keep an eye on him. Hope he's okay. While we have a moment, we want to thank once again some of the fantastic organizations who help underwrite all of our remote productions. Again, Nate Glennie, the executive director of Fitchburg Access Television, is off in Shrewsbury sending us the video along with some timestamp updates and everything else. FATV's remote productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, and the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital.
Also want to thank Travis Falk and Robin Como in the control room, helping to make the magic happen once they get the video back from Shrewsbury to here to put on the graphics, set up the replays, and make all that nice stuff work for us to give you a great broadcast here today.
Also, a big shout out, an enormous shout out to Mother Nature. There have been, to this point, no power outages. The lights are on. That's an improvement over the last time we tried to do this. Look, it's bright. We can still see. My mask is almost, there it is. It's over my nose. It's brilliant. Dan has the fancy FATV mask. It's a very nice mask. I want 4 of those.
Help get me through the ice hockey and basketball season. So 40 yards to goal, 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders. And a handoff up the middle to Oquendo gets nowhere.
First play of the drive, handoff to Oquendo. That's been pretty much every drive for Fitchburg, Dan?
No gain on the play.
It seems like one of those things, just a bit of a template. Montgomery Graham, he's fit to continue in this game. Looked to pump fake, wanted to throw down the field, and just couldn't find an opening quickly enough, so he runs for it and is able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And they may be backing him up more because there is a penalty marker in the backfield. Usually doesn't bode well for the offense when that happens. A chop block is indicated. That is another thing that you cannot do.
That's more damaging than a hold. That's minus 15.
See if we can spot it here. I didn't see it, but we didn't see everybody. Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
Okay. We trust that it happened. We only have one camera.
It's minus 15 from the spot as well, so that backs them all the way up to the 41-yard line. That's a 19-yard loss.
Not what you want to see if you're a Fitchburg fan. Raiders trying to cling to life in this one, down by 3 scores in the third quarter.
Get to keep the down, so it's 2nd and very long. And there's a throw that's very long and nearly pulled in by Donovan DeLeon, whose momentum gets him rolling. How many times on the ground there?
Just barely overthrown out of the outstretched arms of Donovan DeLeon. It was a nicely thrown ball, a little bit too far. DeLeon had a couple of steps on his guys. Now the officials are going to say that Montgomery Graham needs to head to the sidelines. He was crouched over a little bit there. So once again, Philip Arpano will check in as we approach the 5.5-minute mark here in the third quarter.
So 3rd and 29 it's going to be for the Red Raiders. They've got to find a way to get to the St. John's 30 for a first down. And the junior quarterback, Philip Arpano, back in there with 2 in the backfield. Barasano to his left and Dudek to his right. And 3 receivers there, whistle, flag.
False start indicated against the Raiders. So if you liked 3rd and 29, how do you feel about 3rd and 34?
Ouch.
A third of a football field to go, and then 3 feet. That's fine. You can do that. That's happened, right? In the long and storied history of football, someone has to have converted a 3rd and 34, right?
I imagine so. Seems like the ones you more famously remember are the 4th and ridiculously longs.
Yeah. 4th and 26 comes to mind.
34.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
But,
3rd and triple-digit feet to go. So different formation this time, taking it under center. Arpano wants time. He's going to get just enough time. But of course, the rush throw with pressure behind will cause an incompletion, as they were looking for De Leon.
He forces an incomplete pass.
Closest man in the area was Colin Fitzgerald, one of the defenders for St. John's. Pioneers got plenty of pressure there. Now the Raiders will go ahead and punt.
It's really all you can do at this point.
Yeah, 4th and 34. It's you want to be aggressive, but I think you punt here. I think it's the correct call.
Fortuitously for the Raiders, St. John's is not going terribly aggressive on that, and that was muffed again, wasn't it?
I believe so. It was kind of, you saw Ryan Coonan call for the fair catch, but then he pushed forward into a group of a few more players and tried to actually make that fair catch, which was probably an ill-advised decision. We'll take a look at it again here. Once again, St. John's really not sending any kind of pressure at all. Kick is a little short. You've got blockers in there. Coonan tries to step in and make the catch. He may have muffed it, but then he falls on it at the 33-yard line, where St. John's will take over.
It's been a very adventurous day for Ryan Coonan.
It has.
He's had a lot of trouble holding on to the football. And so here's the end around on 1st down as it goes to Keith Sarcodier. He makes it to the near side numbers around the 37-yard line.
Some of the easiest passing yards Ryan Miller will ever accumulate on this little, it's kind of like a jet sweep. It's kind of like an end around. It's, it's technically a forward pass because you do catch the ball and then kind of shovel it forward, but pretty easy to complete that.
4 yards gained on 1st down. Here's a run up the middle as Apia finding a lot of space, breaking out of tackles again, and he's going to make it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers. The senior running back, Darren Apia, taking it all the way. And he needs a moment.
You can understand being a little tired, maybe a cramp coming up here. Just huge blocks from the offensive line, running through the tackle of Barisano, around the tackle of Dudek, past the diving arms of Danger, and there was nothing that Richard Santana could do about it. You see immediately grabbing the back of those calves. Get him a stretch, get him some water. He will hopefully be fine. Darren Apia from 62 yards out makes it a 34-7 lead for St. John's.
13 carries, 167 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day as they continue to work on the senior running back, Apia.
And while we have a moment as they tend to him, we do want to remind folks at home that this is all being done by the fantastic staff and volunteers here at FATV. And FATV, especially if you are in Fitchburg, is your local access TV station. If you live, work, go to school, or are a member of a Fitchburg organization, you can become an FATV member. Membership brings a number of benefits and gives us access to all of FATV's equipment. The cameras here, audio and lighting equipment, editing suites, studios, so much more. We'll tell you a little bit more about that after the extra point here. which is up and good. So it is now a 35-7 game. But FATV also offers technical training classes to teach you how to create your own program. You can reserve channel time to broadcast to the community and beyond. You can just visit fatv.org for more details and start producing your own show today. I had a show on FATV.
Really?
Yeah, we did. It was a college film that I did when I was at Fitchburg State University. We went through the procedures. We put it up on FATV. You ever see a little short film called Free Delivery? That was me.
Wow. I've not been as talented in regards to that.
I mean, I was the editor on that. I may have been an extra at one point. I was not the star.
So 4:33 to go in the third quarter of play. 35-7 St. John's in front. One thing to note, if St. John's scores again before Fitchburg can respond, that'll bring them to a 30-point lead, and the mercy rule comes into effect when you're up by 30 points.
I see.
Which means the clock's not going to stop for very many reasons.
But right now, 4:33 left. We have enough time for a John Cage song, so that's nice. I cracked Danny up again. I can still see it behind the mask. He's smiling.
Not everyone's going to recognize the song if we just start acting it out.
No, this is a bad time to perform that. Maybe between quarters. Well, between quarters, here is our promise, our guarantee to you. Between quarters, an excerpt from John Cage's 4:33. Stay tuned.
St. Valley boots that into the end zone. Another touchback.
You know, we can't fit the whole thing in because there's a very short break. But we could do an excerpt, right?
Yeah, we can do an excerpt.
We can do a cover. All right, so 35-7 is the score. Fitchburg's offense desperately trying to keep them in here. Oquendo and Barasano will join Graham in the backfield.
Graham continuing to fight through the game, and it'll go to Oquendo on first down. Again, sticking to the template. Gains about a yard this time.
Oquendo has stood up at the line.
Usual faces in there on defense for St. John's. Quinn Herlihy was there. Seabaz Romaine was there.
A couple of yards gained on that first down. Oquendo 17 carries for 58 yards is what I've got him down as. And that's exactly what he put up last week against Grafton.
You know, Oquendo is definitely has the explosive potential, but we have not seen it yet this week.
The challenge is just finding the space to work with as Barasano wrapped up by several Pioneers. But it's a significant gain that time. He got across the 25-yard line.
Barasano dragged down after a short gain.
Not much there for Barasano, running behind Nico Tolos. You see Montgomery Graham there, top right of your screen, getting the play call from his father, the interim head coach, Greg Graham. Of course, formerly an assistant coach both for the football and basketball teams. He's a Fitchburg High alum.
Gave him 6 yards, so 3rd and 2 now for the Raiders. Send Barasano in motion illegally, they'll say.
And it'll be 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. As we go below 3.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
I think the officials don't like the way that Barasano goes in motion, so they'll call it a false start.
I see.
That's what I think they're hating on, as opposed to, you know, just a twitch and a start. They feel like the way that he's moving towards the line, essentially, as he's trying to come across, because I believe you're supposed to stay parallel.
I need to move a little more laterally rather than, you know, take a step forward and then move.
So it's something to watch for. See if the Raiders can figure out what to do with that.
2.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Barasano the carry.
And I can tell you if that was the play they'd run on 3rd and 2, it wouldn't have been good enough for a first down there, as he's able to get to about the 24, and not much more than that, just a yard gained. So Raiders trailing by 28 points. And McCloskey will come back in to punt it away. Just not finding the success on that drive. So McCloskey able to get that off. Again, St. John's not rushing that hard. And that punt didn't go as far through the air as they would have liked. And will be downed at the 40-yard line after a unlucky bounce.
You know, Dan, Fitchburg had some really good success on their first possession, culminating in the touchdown pass to Darnell Thomas. But since then, you know, and this is something that has been a theme for a couple of years now for Fitchburg offensively, the consistency just hasn't been there. You see the big play potential. You know, Montgomery Graham's got a pretty big arm. Devin Barisano and Anthony Aquendo obviously capable of exploding at any time, but it just hasn't been there consistently as St. John's is getting a little deeper into their roster here. We've got some new guys at quarterback and tailback taking over for the Pioneers.
So we had whistles here.
35-7.
Looks like they may have called a timeout here is what they've done.
Jacques DeRocher is the new quarterback. Vincent Pusateri, the new running back. You can even hear the St. John's sidelines. You know, some direct quotes. They're rattled, yo. They're getting waxed. So the Pioneers know what they know what the score is.
They're about 13 minutes and change away from their first victory of the season. 1:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Pioneers lead by 4 touchdowns, and if they can score on this drive, they will invoke the mercy rule. That magic number is 30 points. In fact, Leominster got mercy ruled against Wachusett last night.
That's a shame.
Yep, the Blue Devils are winless on the season as well.
We take no joy in reporting that, of course. We take very minor joy. We take joy in reporting.
So on first down, Grosher getting the handoff there.
Number 22, Vinny Pusateri with the carry.
Pusateri. I decided I'd like to wait for the PA announcer to say his name because I think he'll say it better than I will.
Yeah, probably. That's why I switched to Apaya. I heard the PA announcer go with that.
Same here. Obviously, we're in Fitchburg. We've not had a chance to talk with the St. John's coaching staff on pronunciations. On second down, that's another carry there for Pusateri. He'll take it to the 31, and now one of the Pioneers is hurt.
Pusateri for 2 yards.
Looks like that's Cameron Nolan, one of the junior offensive linemen. This offensive line for St. John's, Dan, has been a dominant force all day. You know, Sean Sullivan, Joe Pilata, those guys, they deserve a lot of credit. You know, Mark Fields, we saw fall on a fumble, actually earn his team a first down by getting his helmet ripped off.
Now Ryan Coonan is going to take this one on 3rd down, going to try to run with it himself. That did not work out well.
No, it did not.
So that's a loss of some yards there. That's going to bring up 3rd down, 4th down, and 3 to go, they'll say.
And Dan, are we actually going to see the punting unit for St. John's here?
We've not seen them today.
Given the way they're milling around, they may be waiting out the last few moments of the quarter.
Could be that as well.
Here, the sideline saying a timeout is being called. So they may just call timeout, decide what they're going to do on 4th down, or is that going to be the end of the quarter?
I think they were suggesting the timeout there because, after all, the play clock, there's no visible play clocks really in high school football, so it's the back judge who keeps track. 8 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. So
most likely one more play, and then, of course, Dan and I shall perform our concert.
just looking out there at the St. John's squad, seeing who they expect to have punting. I can see Sam Valley's in there. So
Dan,
they're going to attempt a field goal.
They're kicking a 50-yard field goal. I mean, LaValle has a heck of a leg. We have seen him boom these extra points. This is about to be a 50-yard field goal attempt.
Well, I didn't expect that, but then again,
hey, you know, that 30-point lead is a big deal.
That would get him to 31. As St. John's attempts to perform the Spanish Inquisition. 50-yard field goal, straight shot.
Just short. Just short. It was dead on. It probably would have been good from 45. But it was just short, just out of the outstretched arms of the defender Fitchburg had set back to recover and maybe return that kick.
It was Barisano back there, trying to pull his Chris Davis impersonation there. Shades of the Auburn, Alabama game from years ago.
They only ran 5 seconds off the clock, so time for one more play in the third quarter. Fitchburg takes over with what will be pretty good field position. They're actually gonna mark it back at the 20 and declare a touchback on the attempted return.
Ooh, so that doesn't bode well for the Red Raiders.
If Barisano had not been there, they probably would have gotten it at the 40, the spot of the kick. But instead, because he got a hand on it and tried to make a return, in the eyes of the officials, the ball then went dead in the end zone, so it is a touchback. Fitchburg takes it at the 20 instead. It may just be an academic difference, you know, down by 4 scores with a quarter and 3 seconds to play.
So our punt, no, it's Graham, rolling to the left, rolling for space, tries to dump it off to Barisano with the sticks, too high though. That's gonna bring an end to this third quarter of play after we settle the flag.
After we settle the flag.
And there were actually a few flags.
There are a few flags.
What highly illegal thing did someone do here?
Thing or things? Let's see if we can diagnose. Maybe a hold downfield. Maybe some unnecessary shoving and pushing him down to the ground downfield. That's also illegal. Yep. You can't do that.
Downfield, that's a 5-yard penalty. Previous spot. We also have a dead ball foul. Personal foul on the defense. Sorry, on the offense. Going half the distance. It's going to be first down. We're now going to flip on the quarter.
All right, so an illegal downfield hold and a dead ball personal foul will back the Red Raiders up deep in their own territory as we head for the fourth quarter. And now, folks, Daniel Bolek and John Gugerty perform a rendition, an excerpt of John Cage's 4:33. A truly magnificent piece, Dan. Your performance was fantastic.
Thank you very much. And for those who didn't understand what we just did, you have
we're gonna
homework.
Explain the joke?
You have some homework. Go look it up.
I can't believe the stuff they let us get away with. Fitchburg will take over 1st and 10 at their own, looks like about the 7-yard line. It's probably not actually 1st and 10. I apologize. Fumble on the snap. Graham is going to dive forward and fall on it. He wanted to hand it off to Poitras. Poitras was not on the same page there. Graham winds up just falling on the ball. So things going from bad to worse to even worse than that for Fitchburg at the moment. This game started off pretty even and then got a little more out of hand and a little more out of hand, and is now very, very far out of hand as we enter the fourth quarter. Fitchburg trailing 35-7. Motion to the far side goes Barisano, and he dipped his shoulder again.
I think the officials at this point trying to make a point that you can't call that play. You can't do that. Actually.
This one's actually against St. John's, so
right.
a Pioneer may have jumped.
Find the silver lining somewhere in that.
Sure, 5-3. 5 free yards is 5 free yards. Not going to complain. 11:20 to play here, fourth quarter. Fourth quarter just underway. Graham back to pass, throws to his right. Pass is caught by Barisano, gets some good blocks in front of him, ducks out of a tackle. He's got the first down and more before finally being pushed out of bounds. And we have an injured Pioneer on the far side.
Pass complete to Barisano.
And they're going to be calling for the trainers, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like it basically looked like Alex Zumakis came up lame, almost as though he was cramping, and he was just holding his leg up like, hey, can somebody give me a stretch here? Really good downfield blocking, Dan, by the Raiders on this play, though. I want to shout out Xavier McCary threw a really good block. And then you see Zumakis there just kind of, holding his leg up, favoring it. They initially looked like they wanted to call for a St. John's trainer, and now you have a Red Raider down as well. It is a pretty warm day. Guys playing in direct sunlight. It's it's April. That alone is weird. I was about to say, halfway through the season, it's getting a little colder. No, it's not. No, it's April. It's it's 73 degrees in Fitchburg right now. Granted, they're in Shrewsbury, but my weather app doesn't have Shrewsbury.
Can't imagine it's any different.
It's 73 degrees in Shrewsbury right now.
Worcester County is Worcester County. If it's like that in one spot of the county, it's probably like that in another spot of the county.
Oh, you've lived in New England long enough to know that that's not necessarily true.
11:03 to go, fourth quarter. St. John's up by 4 scores. First meeting between these two teams since 2015.
And we do want to thank, once again, some of the companies who provide underwriting for this and every remote production from FATV. FATV's remote productions are underwritten in part by North End Subaru, Unitil, and Research Results. Thank you very much to them.
And it was Duncan Poitras who was down the whole time. So we'll hope he's all right. So they've spotted at the 24-yard line. I believe they have to get to the 30, so it's going to be a 3rd and 6 upcoming for the Red Raiders.
And considering just how far back they had found themselves, they were just about at their 5-yard line at one point. Having 3rd and 6 from the 24, it could be worse. Graham will come to the line. He has Oquendo to his left, Barisano to the right. Barisano comes in motion to the near side left. Play fake. Graham will keep it himself. Under pressure. Rolls left. Rolling left again. Throws for Barisano. Passes very high, overthrown and incomplete. Would have been a heck of a catch for him. Colin Fitzgerald was in the area, mostly as a spectator.
Not a whole lot you could really do there. Now as Graham goes to the sideline, looks for the play, and the play is punt.
Yeah, 4th and 6, deep inside your own territory. It may be officially waving the white flag, but it may also be officially time to wave the white flag. Fitchburg will kick it away to St. John's. Pioneers will get the ball back with about 10 minutes and some change to play here in the fourth quarter.
Nothing's come to me at linebacker. I'm so sad.
This is a pretty good kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 43. Probably the best punt we've seen today from Alexander McCloskey, Dan.
And really, that's the least amount of drama that Ryan Coons had to deal with in terms of gathering a punt today as well.
So, both sides will be satisfied with the result. Fitchburg coming up, still a couple of games left on their schedule. Of course, schedules are suggestions, but, if everything goes according to plan, this coming Friday the 16th, they will be at Westboro, and then the following Friday at Oakmont. Both of those games, 6 o'clock starts. Now going straight up the middle here, a big gainer for C.J. Ewing. He follows the train into Fitchburg territory, gets a first down, as I realize I made the same joke twice for each of C.J. Ewing's carries. Oh well.
20-yard gain on the play. First
Give him
down by
20 yards, though. Big first down there. St. John's is back in Red Raider territory. Ewing lines up to the left of Jacques DeRocher. DeRocher will throw on first down. This is Keith Sarcodier with the catch. He gets a few before being swamped and brought down.
Number 10, Jacques DeRocher's pass complete to Keith Sarcodier.
Sarcodier is across the 35 to the 34 before being brought down by Barisano, and I believe Deodoric Camacho is there on the hit for Fitchburg. Maybe it was Garcia.
Wasn't looking.
I think we'll give that one to Chris Garcia, actually.
Imagine if I was typing in the tacklers on this as well.
That would, you would go insane.
Yes, there's a reason why, having worked college football and what have you, that's why they have spotters for the live statter.
Yeah.
You need 3 sets of eyes, basically, to do the live statting job.
And Dan does the best he can while also providing commentary because he's Dan Bolek. He can do that. Handoff goes up the middle this time to Pusateri. He gets to about the 30-yard line, still a good yard and a half shy of the line to gain. It'll be third down and, let's call it 48 inches. 4 whole feet. Pusateri lines up to the right of DeRocher here on third down. He will get the carry, looking to go to his left. Does not get away from a tackle. Was that a flag or a shoe that went flying? It was a shoe, but it led to a flag. I think a Fitchburg player may have taken Pusateri's shoe and chucked it, and you can't do that.
The only thing worse would have been to pull a Mike Milbury.
There is a flag after the play.
We'll take a look at this again. It's great job, great penetration by Dudek. Yeah, Dudek basically grabbed him by the ankle, pulled his shoe off, and then after it was tackled, he just threw the shoe away, and the officials are going to ding him for unsportsmanlike conduct there because, well, his conduct was rather unsportsmanlike. We've talked about Fitchburg not having the discipline, the lack of discipline that we saw at the end of last season, Dan, but as they get their butts handed to them here, it's coming back.
Yeah, that was. There's a correct thing to do in that situation, and that wasn't it.
C.J. Ewing, another good run, gets inside the 10, close to the 5-yard line. That might make it first down and goal now.
C.J. Ewing with a carry
for St. John's. They're actually going to spot him at the 4. That's a pretty generous spot. It will be first and goal.
12-yard gain. First and goal from about the 4.
So first and goal now for St. John's as they look to put another touchdown on the board here. DeRocher pitches it to the left side to Ewing, and he is thrown down with authority. Miguel Torres making the final hit.
Ewing brought down by Miguel Torres. No gain.
Looked like that was an option play for DeRocher. He decided to pitch it to Ewing. And there wasn't much CJ could do about that. He got big smoked. I'm just making all of the GTA San Andreas jokes I can cram into the fourth quarter. Second down and goal from about the 5-yard line. This time CJ Ewing goes right up the middle. Got to mix up my jokes. He gets about 3.
Ewing for 2 yards. 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd and goal from just about the 3-yard line. St. John's still keeping the pace up. They're right back to the line, looking to punch this one in, make it a 42-7 game. DeRocher looking left, throws over the middle, and incomplete. He was trying to hit Jake Newsham. Went a little bit further ahead of Newsham than he intended to. And now 4th and goal from the 3. We saw St. John's attempt a 50-yard field goal. Will they attempt a 20-yard field goal? The answer appears to be yes.
One thing that will make it a little challenging, it's going to be from the left hash, and those are wide hashes they use in high school football, so that's not an easy kick.
No, this is pretty much at an angle for Sam LaValle. You can see the wind not really an issue. What little there is in his face, but he's got the leg. It's a matter of the accuracy. High snap, but gets it down. Kick is up and good. So it becomes a 38-7 lead for St. John's. And perhaps in a small amount of mercy, the mercy rule is in effect now, so we shall have a running clock for the remainder of the game.
That will mean that this game's not going to last much longer.
Which may be music to the ears of Fitchburg High. Possibly even actual music and not just 4:33, but who knows?
So 7:10 on the clock, and we believe that it should be running from here.
Gives us a chance one more time to thank some of the underwriters that make this and every remote broadcast possible. FATV's remote productions are underwritten by Minuteman Press, Mart, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. We thank them and all of the businesses that help contribute to bring FATV's productions, not just from the production truck, but here from the Workers Credit Union studios as well. And if you own a business and you are interested in providing funding for FATV, I mean, we're not going to say no. Go to FATV.org.
That was interesting how that came off the foot there.
Looked like they tried like a squib kick there. Maybe even get some practice for the surprise on sides. But it was picked up by Donovan DeLeon and returned to across the 40-yard line. My apologies, they spotted DeLeon at the 38-yard line, which is where Fitchburg's offense will take over. Looks like Tyler Broussard will take the Raiders home from the quarterback position.
So like St. John's basically using 3 quarterbacks today.
Handoff on first down goes to Devin Barasano. They're going to say he was down. Barasano disagrees, but usually when an official and a player disagree, the officials win. Not always, but usually. Gain of just about a yard for him. We'll call it now 2nd down and 9 for Fitchburg. Broussard is a sophomore, not the biggest guy on the field, to be fair.
Had to serve as the backup quarterback last year as a freshman.
6.5 minutes and running left in this one. 2nd down handoff goes to Barasano. He plunges forward, loses the football, however. This one is fallen on by St. John's. Recovery by Quasi Niante. And St. John's has the ball once again. They will keep that clock running. So St. John's takes over after the fumble. I'm sorry I stepped on your feet there, Dan.
Just the first turnover of the day for the Red Raiders. They've done well to keep control of the football. It'll be the 2nd fumble of the season for Barasano. And if there's one positive for Barasano in fumbling, it's just the fact that it hasn't been that damaging. The one other fumble he had this year in the game against Grafton, he fumbled on the last play of the first half.
That is worse. You shouldn't do that.
Well, but fumbling here, or at least with the game already in a mercy situation. They haven't been that damaging in that regard, but now on first down.
Number 24, Nolan Blanchett with the
Nolan
carry.
Blanchett gets his first carry of the game. And now they're just tricking us because he is listed as an offensive player. That position is wide receiver. So, you know.
First down for the Pioneers.
They'll just do what they want, and really, when you've won 3 straight Central Mass championships in a row, you get that authority.
I mean, yeah, you know, 3-time defending champions, up by 31 points. You can mess around. You'd be like, hey, who wants a carry? You want a carry? You get a carry.
Just spreading the love around, and they've got the chance to do just that.
Blanchett will take it again on first down here. Only gets a couple this time before he is met by O'Brien Porter and John Carlos Oquendo. So it'll be second down and a long 9 as we go beneath 5 minutes remaining now in this one. A game that after 2 possessions, Dan, looked very much, you know, 2 high, powerful, slugging type offenses, and one of them was shut down for the remainder of the game, and the other one was not. This time, keeping it himself is Jacques DeRocher. He's still on his feet, finally being brought down. Fitchburg may have tried to pull the ball away from him, but unsuccessfully. DeRocher's down at the 24-yard line, but that's good enough to move the chains. St. John's will keep the ball moving, keep the clock running. Pioneers more than happy to see this one out, but they'd like to get some more points, because why not? If I was playing football, I'd like to score points.
Now 3:45 to go in this contest. St. John's looking to try to break 40. We said they averaged 39.3 a game last season. They're not at that number yet.
Nope. They were at 8.5 through their first 2 games. DeRocher keeps it himself once again, crosses the 20 before he touches anyone, and is finally brought down at the 14-yard line, but that's very close to another first down. They're actually going to stop the clock for an injured player. Looks like that is Brady Graceffa
Jones, number 11 on the play.
over on the far side of the field. Graceffa is a junior listed as a DB, but obviously lined up as a receiver as well. See him having his left leg attended to there.
Have a look to see what may have happened on this.
Graceffa's up there at the top of your screen. You see, he actually, I wonder if maybe DeRocher stepped on him or something, Dan, because he came up, you know, hobbling right after DeRocher ran right past him, and there wasn't like a hit or a block or anything. He just kind of came up and was kind of hopping around and favoring that left leg. So maybe, and again, this is purely speculation, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. You know, maybe, you know, stepped on an ankle and twisted his knee or something. You know, it doesn't look like he just got spiked. Like, he's obviously having trouble putting pressure on that left knee. But we hope he's okay and he's able to, you know, return to action the next time St. John's plays. Their next scheduled contest is
going to be against BC High next week. I wrote those dates wrong, so I think it's going to be the 17th, a noontime start. And those are going to be on the road, so they're going to be in Dorchester for that one on the 17th, and then at Xaverian on the 24th, I believe is going to be the plan for St. John's. And of course, they were supposed to play BC High earlier this year on the 27th, and they were supposed to play Xaverian on the 20th, both of March, but obviously COVID reared their ugly heads.
Fitchburg again with Westboro and Oakmont on the schedule for the next 2 Friday nights. And hopefully they'll actually play Westboro and Oakmont on the next 2 Friday nights. We'll see.
Yep. On the 16th and 23rd, Westboro and Oakmont actually just played each other last night. 43-36 win for Westboro in that one.
Handoff goes to Pusateri, and he takes it in for the touchdown. Vincent Pusateri. St. John's is just making it look so easy, Dan.
Just a high-powered offense Obviously, the first 2 games, they haven't had a chance to really show that off, but that just shows the degree of difficulty of playing schools like a Catholic Memorial or a St. John's Prep. This time against Fitchburg, the only public school they're scheduled to play in this Fall 2 season. And it's obviously a completely different story, as the Red Raiders just have not been able to match the Pioneer defense.
Not much doing up the middle initially, but he bounced it out to the outside, got great blocking from his receivers, basically went in untouched. This time, LaValle kind of lost his footing, had to kick it from a dead stop and almost got it there. That was an interesting-looking extra point attempt.
St. John's 44.
Not at all to plan, but I'll have a look at this again and see if we can figure out what exactly has gone on here. And yeah, just that second foot just doesn't go where he wanted it to.
It's like he pulled back his leg to kick and then just stopped.
He might have just overshot with the plant foot there and just had it in a weird spot. He knew it was in a weird spot, and so he just tried to improvise the best he could, and that's his first missed extra point of the season.
I did see, right before, actually, I'm kind of surprised they didn't call a false start, but, it's 1 minute left to play in a game that's 44-7. I think if you throw a flag there, they fine you or something as an official. But he took a step even before the ball was snapped, and that probably threw off his whole rhythm. So just about a minute and a half left to play in this one. St. John's very much the superior team. They're leading this one by a score of 44-7. And they will kick it away to Fitchburg. Try to see this one the rest of the way home. Picked up by Rivera inside the 10. He'll spin around, try to make what he can of it. There is a flag down because, some officials just want to get fined, I guess. Rivera is finally brought down out of bounds at about the 25. But we'll check the flag, and given where it was thrown from, this is more than likely coming back. But we shall see.
Gary, you had a great game, buddy. Good job, Sam. Oh, it's a lot more fun this week than other weeks, buddy.
This would be the 18th enforced penalty of the game, which is actually less than we had last week. But one thing that I'm happy about, we didn't have any delay of game penalties.
Don't say that. Game's not over yet. Looks like this is a personal foul. Did hear that.
Final score.
And because the clock kept running while they're trying to figure out the penalty, there will be no more play.
Okay, so that is the final play of the game. Final score is 44-7. Understatement alert, just be prepared. This did not go the way Fitchburg hoped it would, Dan. It started off promisingly for the offense. Fitchburg's defense unable to stop St. John's on their first possession. The Pioneers marched down, made it 7-0, but the offense answered right back. They were able to get downfield themselves. There was a very nice touchdown pass from Montgomery Graham to Darnell Thomas that tied the game up. But then after that, I believe some foolish person said that Fitchburg would not be shut out, and that turned out to be wrong. St. John's defense just stymied the Red Raider offense the rest of the way. Meanwhile, the offense, unstoppable, 37 unanswered points. This was a butt whooping.
Yeah, St. John's just showing their power and why they've been so successful over the years. They were state champions in 2017, state semifinalists in 2018 and 19. There's a reason why these two teams stopped playing each other, especially after Fitchburg went into a bit of a dark period in the mid to late 2010s, like right after they won that Central Mass Championship in 2014. But since then, you see a lot of the camaraderie there, the teams congratulating each other on a good game played. It's not a formal handshake line, but players, if they want to talk with each other, that seems to be a thing that the officials have been allowing to happen.
Well, as long as everybody's masked and, hopefully in a few months everybody will be vaccinated. Get your vaccines, people.
You got yours, I got mine.
I'm halfway there. Next focus next week. May 1st, I'm good to go. So, it's just it's a frustrating game to watch if you're a fan of Fitchburg. St. John's is going to be a very difficult test. Maybe you think, hey, it's been a few years since we played them. We're a really good team this season. It's St. John's is on another level. and it's difficult. Obviously, you're pulling these games together. You're scheduling at kind of the last minute, trying to pull together a schedule to get as many games in as you can. If the choice is play St. John's or don't play, for a Fitchburg fan, you probably want to say play St. John's. Well, you played St. John's today, and St. John's is very, 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 very good.
Yep, and that 0-2 record, of course, quite deceptive, as we mentioned, when you're playing two of the best teams in the state in your first two games of the season. It's going to look a little bit deceiving, but St. John's getting to play what they probably felt was an easier test in Fitchburg, even with Fitchburg having as great of a start to the season as they had. And obviously, this is a game that you can take some lessons from. You take some ideas from. You get an idea where you are.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not it's not a situation where there is no hope. You and I, in the years we've been covering Fitchburg sports, we have seen blowout games from teams where you come away from it and you're like, okay, what positives can we take away from this game? There's nothing. There is no hope. I have no idea. But for this game, for Fitchburg High, I don't think it's that kind of a situation, Dan. There are still building blocks on this team. There are things that you saw that have the potential to work. Montgomery Graham throwing those deep balls, if those connect, that's a good play. That's something that Fitchburg can go to more often. They can go to the explosiveness of Anthony Oquendo or, the dependable between the tackles running of Devin Barisano. There are things that Fitchburg's offense can do to get back into these games and to perform better in their final two games.
Indeed, and as we've mentioned before, there's a reason why they divide these teams in two divisions, after all. As we mentioned, St. John's is in a higher division. They're in Division 3. They're going to be in Division 1 next year.
Right.
Fitchburg will be in Division 3 most likely next year, so we'll say two divisions between them, essentially. So they're playing up to a higher division. They're playing Westboro and Oakmont to finish. Westboro currently in the same division as Fitchburg. Oakmont in the division below Fitchburg. And, Fitchburg beat Westboro last year in what was a classic of a game, that 29-27 overtime win. They haven't played Oakmont deliberately since 2008. Last time they played them was 2016. Red Raiders have not lost in recent years against the Spartans, and I know I'm looking forward to that one to see the Red Raiders taking on former Red Raider Nick McNamara and his squad.
So, there is hope for, Fitchburg faithful. If you're just watching this game and you're saying, oh, they got beat 44-7, they're terrible, they're awful, nothing ever good is going to ever happen again, it's going to be dark and cloudy and rainy forever. No. They're going to be fine. They've got some winnable games coming up against Westboro and Oakmont. And then, Dan, I don't know, and this is purely my ignorance. What are they doing in terms of a postseason?
They're not going to be able to have one, I don't believe, just because the official end of the Fall 2 season is the 26th of April.
I see.
So the last game against Oakmont will be on the 23rd. There's just not going to be enough time to really get a postseason in for Fall 2. I mean, St. John's, the Catholic Conference, was going to do a postseason this year with the last 2 weeks, but all those postponements, for St. John's, 3 postponements in 5 weeks. They
basically wiped that out.
They have to use the last 2 weeks that they were going to allocate to a postseason just to finish their schedule and get their 5 games in. But Fitchburg, the goal was to try to go 5-0, and obviously, maybe if North Middlesex was the opponent this week, perhaps a North Middlesex team that's now 0-3, maybe they would have had a good shot at that. But obviously, St. John's, a far different beast. But I do think that the Red Raiders are still very much the favorites in the 2 weeks to come against Westboro and Oakmont. I saw some good things out of this Raider team today, but obviously, it's just a battle of trying to play a team that's, way stronger than you in many regards.
Yeah, obviously, the any given Sunday mentality, you kick off at 0-0. It was 7-7 at some point, but, Fitchburg playing St. John's, you expect St. John's to win, 9 times out of 10, something like that. Today was not one of the 1 times out of 10.
Yep, just go over the final stats if I can. St. John's finished with 408 yards of total offense. The Red Raiders finished with 166 yards of offense. The passing game, we saw some very good passes out of Monty Graham. Finished 6 for 14, 109 yards through the air. Had that great throw to Darnell Thomas. We saw Donovan DeLeon getting in on the receptions later on in the contest as well, and he's shown himself to be a formidable receiver. Anthony Oquendo finished his 17 carries for 58 yards, and Barisano 9 for 25 and the catch for 13. And the penalties, obviously, they racked up near the end. I got him for 125 yards of penalties, and that's not great. A lot of those
got a little bit out of hand at the end of the game, as you said, Dan.
A little bit of chippiness, a little bit of frustration. I don't know if a lot of that frustration happens, when you're in a closer game than that. But
it's difficult. It's frustrating. It's demoralizing. You spend all week, practicing and getting ready, and then you drive out to Shrewsbury and you get your butt handed to you. It's frustrating, and you can understand frustration shown by the Fitchburg players. You would hope that doesn't manifest in terms of penalties. A penalty for getting in an official's face to contest a non-call. You shouldn't be doing that. A penalty for grabbing another player's shoe and just throwing it away. You shouldn't do that. That kind of stuff, those are the kind of penalties that you really hope not to see and that you would like to see Fitchburg kind of take out of their game for the remaining 2 games of this Fall 2 schedule.
Yep, and I know Greg Graham had a few keys to the game, trying to be able to adjust mid-game. That was a bit challenging, I think. Limiting penalties, nope. Throwing the ball, they did have some success throwing the ball at least.
Yeah.
So they kept on that one, but at the end of the day, St. John's, we've said it enough times as it is, they're very strong, they're very good. They're ranked where they are for a reason.
Absolutely. But, again, certainly some positives to take away from this game for Fitchburg. Positives to go into their next 2 games, again, against Westboro and Oakmont. Both of those games scheduled for the next 2 Fridays at 6 o'clock. Fingers crossed that will actually happen. Some folks we want to thank before we take off today. We want to thank, of course, Robin Como and Travis Falk here in the control room at the Workers Credit Union Studios here at FATV. And, of course, this entire broadcast would not have been possible without Nate Glennie, the executive director of Fitchburg Access Television, who took it upon himself, took the camera, took his truck, went out to Shrewsbury, and brought us all of the pictures today. So thank you so much to Nate for that. One more time, I also want to thank all of the companies who underwrite FATV's remote productions. FATV's remote productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Research Results, Minuteman Press, Mart, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. Dan, do you have any final words before we say goodbye?
I think the Raiders still have a pretty good chance of going 4-1 and winning out the rest of the season. Obviously, it was neat to at least get to see St. John's again, rekindle that old rivalry from years past when they were the 2 powerhouse teams. Obviously, it wasn't 2 powerhouses going at it maybe for 1 round, but rounds 2 through 12, if you will, it was all Pioneers.
This was a TKO in round 6 or 7, but they played the last 12 because it's football and the boxing metaphor falls apart eventually. So the final score for the final time, as you see on your screen there, St. John's 44, Fitchburg 7. For Dan Bolek, I'm John Gugerty saying thank you so much for being with us, folks, and we will see you next time right here on FATV.